Hello. Can you hear me? Okay, so we already have some people here. I am sorry I am late, as always. Okay, I can see Susan is here. Hello, Susan. Hi, Leander. Hi, Ken. And hi, Greg. Good to have you all here. How are you all doing? And can you definitely hear me? Hi, Jacqueline. How are you doing? All right, I'm guessing you can hear me. Hi, little Lockie. That's good to hear, Jacqueline. I'm glad that you're good. Oh, sorry, Leander. I didn't even look at what you'd said. Yeah, thank you for dropping in. If you have to drop out, that's totally fine. Thank you for saying hi. It was good to see you. Um, okay, good. You can hear me. You can hear me. Because I put it all away after the live stream and then it stays away for 2 weeks. So I'm always paranoid that I haven't plugged it in correctly, but I have. I have plugged it in correctly. So that's great. So I'm not sure if Nikki's here yet, which is fine. I'm sure you guys are going to be fine without Nikki. Will I be fine without Nikki? I don't know. I hope so. I do have Bella here, so I have moral support in Bella, and you guys can be my moral support because I feel like I know you guys now, so it's fine. Okay, so yes, homebrew time. Cool. What is everybody else having to drink? I am having a very weak decaf coffee, which is delicious to me. So yeah, that's what I'm having. What is everybody else having? Have you got snacks? Are you drinking something? Let me know. I'm interested. Okay. Hello, Dharma File. Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, so you said that you found the channel a few weeks ago. Awesome. I'm glad to have you. All right, so Susan is having a cup of tea. Beautiful. Love a good cup of tea. And little Lockie just finished a decaf coffee with milk. Yum, yum. I'm glad we're on the same page here with the decaf coffee. All right. Have I missed anything? You wouldn't think I would because it's only just started, but my brain is a bit all over the place today, so I'm going to do my best. Okay, so Ken says that they missed us all. I missed you guys too. Thank you, Ken. Hey, Matt. How are you doing? So Matt said yay, Bella. She is here. I will show you in a second. She's in the same spot that she was last time. I think she likes the end of the bed. I don't think she's doing it specifically to annoy me, so she's not on camera, but it is kind of the spot that she is. I just think, look, this is not the best backdrop for a live stream ever, but I think this angle is better than that angle in terms of setting up. So yeah, this is the direction that I think I have to set it up. I know a lot of people are lucky enough to have a room that they can decorate for their backdrop for their live stream, but you guys know the situation I'm in. This is the room. I could, I guess, maybe do a live stream in the kitchen, but I would feel a bit bad because if my housemate comes into the kitchen, they're either going to be on camera or so. Anyway, it's this room, and this is the angle that I think is okay. But yeah, Vela seems to prefer that direction, so we don't get as much Vela. So Matt is having a full strength coffee. Nice, nice. You need that hit. I understand. All right, so Jacqueline's not having anything to eat or drink right now. She'll be going to church soon and having a decaf dirty chai. Yum. Yeah. Dirty chais are good. I used to work at a coffee van. I've told you that before. But yeah. Yeah, I like a good dirty chai. Very tasty. Hello, Yasmin. Good to have you here. So, Yasmin is drinking Canadian Club Lime and soda. Yum. That sounds really good and refreshing. All right, Dharmaphile is also having a tea. Beautiful. And Ken had a cup of tea about an hour ago. Okay, cool. Okay, so Greg is having anything I can get my hands on. Haven't smoked rolling tobacco in 3 weeks. Wow, well done, Greg. Like, I've never been a smoker, but I've known smokers, and I think giving up nicotine is like one of the hardest drugs to give up. So, like, well done making it 3 weeks. That's amazing. Um, yeah, like, I think nicotine is more, I don't know. My data on this is probably out of date, but I believe tobacco, like nicotine, is more addictive than like cocaine even. So maybe more. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is it's very hard to give up. So well done. I'm very proud of you. Um. Okay. Okay. So Greg's giving it up because of budget. Well, look, anything that can push you in that direction. But yeah, in this country, tobacco products are very, very expensive. So I can understand that. Um, okay. Ken has not heard of a dirty chai. So basically, it's chai or chai latte with coffee in it. But I believe Jacqueline's having a decaf dirty chai so that there's no caffeine. When like at my coffee van, the chai is like in powdered form. So yeah, you'd put the powder in, then you'd add the shot of coffee, and then you'd heat up your milk, pour it in, and you've got a milky chai with some coffee in it, basically. It's very popular. So I guess it's a bit like a mocha, but with chai, if that makes sense. Okay. Yes, Ken, we are all trying to stay in our budgets. Yes. Okay, yes. Obviously, Jacqueline agrees with me that dirty chais are really good because that's why she's going to have one, I'm guessing. All right. Hi, Dimmy. How are you? Okay. Okay, so Greg says budget is tight for the last few months. Doing better. That's how I got onto Enid's channel. Okay, cool. So that's how you found me. Awesome. I mean, that makes sense. Why you would want to click on a video about someone living on $385 a week if you're also trying to cut back. So look, you're probably all here for that reason. But yeah, okay, that's cool. Good to know. So yes, Jacqueline will order a dirty chai from a coffee place, but she gets it for free because she's helping out at the church. Okay. Yeah, I hear you, Dharmaphile. So Dharmaphile says, well done to all who stopped smoking. I can't imagine how hard it is, as I never smoked, but I think I'm addicted to sugar. I'd like to quit, but I don't think I'm ready. Yeah, sugar is a really tough one. So for me, I found, because I've tried several things over the decades, health wise, and so yeah, I have given up sugar. I think it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever given up. And I was very slow to reintroduce sugar because I knew how hard it was to get off sugar. I found bread very difficult to get off. Like, I don't know if it's my ancestry. We've just been eating bread for generations upon generations, but I found bread probably the hardest. So I put off reintroducing bread into my diet for as long as I could because basically I said to myself, I never ever want to go through the withdrawals from bread ever again. So yeah, it took me a long time to reintroduce bread. I was trying like a gluten-free thing. Um, to see if it would help with like my digestive issues and my skin issues and like just my inflammation problems. I don't think gluten is a problem for me, or if it is, like I said, I don't think I can give up bread ever again now that I've brought it back into my diet. So, but yeah, I resisted eating bread again because I knew how hard it was to get off bread. So yeah, sugar, bread, very difficult to get off. Um, yeah. I mean, I was off like added sugar for a very long time. Like it was mostly just fruit, which is sugar. But yeah, yeah, it's probably only since I've been on a low budget that I've gone back to added sugar rather than because I can't eat as much fruit as I used to eat to make up for that desire for sweetness. Um, yeah, because unfortunately, a teaspoon of like refined sugar is cheaper than a mango, for example. Okay. Yeah, Katrina's not here yet. She might come along soon. I was late, and I'm the host, so um Yasmin says I have a caffeine addiction, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah, me too. Um, I did quit coffee and tea for many, many years, but I was still having dark chocolate. And I don't know about you, I'm someone that gets caffeine headaches if I stop having any caffeine. And so even if, yeah, even my like, I'd have 2 squares of Lindt dark chocolate every day as my replacement for coffee or tea. And if I missed the chocolate, I would get a splitting headache. That sometimes turned into a migraine and I had to go to bed and yeah. So I'm definitely addicted to caffeine too. So I hear you. My body like has a big reaction if I don't have it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Jacqueline and Yasmin, you're both with me on the caffeine addiction. It's a hard one, um, but it's so good. So it's like I don't like the idea of being dependent on anything, but on the other hand, there are a lot of health benefits to both tea and coffee. So it's not the worst thing to be addicted to. It is actually like with moderation, it's actually good for you. So it's not the worst thing. Um, yeah. Okay. Yes, Jacqueline, I agree. Coffee is life. Um, yeah, it was definitely a hard one to give up. And so I had given up coffee. I don't know if this is interesting, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So I had given up coffee for maybe 5 years, and then I started working at a coffee van because that's just like the job opportunity that came up. I had a neighbor who ran a coffee van, and it was him and his wife, and the husband was having a knee replacement, so he needed someone to help his wife whilst he was recovering from his knee replacement, and yeah, so that's why I got hired to a coffee van. And I just look, I don't think you can learn how to make coffees effectively without tasting it. So yeah, I'm like, yeah, so I'm just gonna drink coffee again. I started with decaf and then worked my way up. Um, yeah, Yasmin. So look, I'm not saying that. So it just really depends. Like how much caffeine you're dependent on. I've always tried to stick to like one coffee a day. So for me, when I went off the coffee and I went off the tea, so tea doesn't have as much caffeine either. So I kind of like weaned myself back from coffee to tea. And I didn't realize that I was necessarily replacing the caffeine with the chocolate. Like there are other stimulants in chocolate too, like theobromine, I think. Theobromide. I don't know. Anyway, there are other stimulants in chocolate, but one of it does have caffeine. Basically, is what I'm saying. So yes, you can wean yourself back to dark chocolate, and then if you stop the dark chocolate and you're quite sensitive to not having caffeine, you could have withdrawals. So yeah, yeah. I didn't realize that's what I was doing. Um, I just really like dark chocolate, but yeah, caffeine is good for you, Dimmy, but not in large quantity, like within reason. And coffee itself and tea themselves are very antioxidant rich foods. Um, and coffee even is quite high in fiber. Uh, so there's a lot of research that has come out to say that coffee and tea are very good for you. Um, so that's what I'm telling myself. But look, the research is there. Um, So Greg said, I just brewed 60 liters of beer in my microbrewery this week. Won't be giving up beer for a while. Awesome. Well done. Um, it's good to do something yourself, like especially if it's something you consume a lot of, and it's cheaper. I'm assuming. Um, yeah. Okay. So Susan asked, "Did you get a new housemate, Enid?" Not yet. So the woman that was hopefully going to move in, she found something else. Um, which makes sense because we're sharing a bathroom between three people. So I guess like she found something. She found something better, unfortunately. But yeah, we're still looking. Um, we've got a like we do a Zoom call first before meeting them in person. So we've got another one of those this weekend. So hopefully that person's okay. We'll see. We'll see how we go. Um, Yasmin, you drink way more than one cup. Yeah, yeah. I getcha. I mean, I do too, but I switched to decaf. So um, I've always had like some issues with anxiety, so I can't have too much coffee, or yeah, it just makes me even more jittery than I am in general. So yeah, that's why I don't have more normal coffee. Is yeah, it will just make me too anxious if I have too much. So yeah. Okay. Ah, Greg, you brew lemon flavored beer for your wife, and she loves it. Okay. Um, yeah, that sounds really yummy. Now that I'm thinking of it, do you put like, do you just put lemon juice, or do you like slice up an actual lemon with the peel still on it? Like, how do you make lemon flavored beer? I guess is my question that I'm asking. Okay, just one coffee a day. Matt says in a 1 liter jug. Problem solved. I like the way you think, Matt. That is true. That would be one coffee. Um, okay, so 60 liters of beer is $40. Okay, well, much cheaper than the bottle shop, I think. I don't know. I don't buy beer. I'm assuming. I think it's an expensive thing, right? I think alcohol and tobacco products are very expensive in Australia. Okay, so Greg says the weather is bad for harvesting cereal grain. 'Cause it's always wet this summer. Ah, okay. Ah, okay, yeah, Dharma file, that makes sense. Yeah, coffee has a lot more caffeine than tea. Um, so that would make sense that coffee makes you jittery, but you can drink liters of tea, no problem. I guess because like you've got like your caffeine coming in from all that tea, but it's over a longer period of time. Whereas if you take a shot of coffee, it's a lot of caffeine all in one go. But there are other things in coffee too. So you might be reacting to them as well, like not just the caffeine. But yeah, coffee definitely has a lot more caffeine than tea. Oh, wow, Susan. How cold was it? So sorry. Susan said, for spring it's cold. Melbourne had coldest November day for 80 years one day last week. Okay, so that's unusual, obviously, if it was the coldest November day. Is November sometimes cold, just not that cold? Ah, okay. So to make lemon beer, Greg brews normal beer, then bottles it with lemon juice. Okay, cool. That sounds very tasty. All right. So the weather has been good around the country. It sounds like it's been warmish here. Um, my room is quite warm. We don't like we've got screens on the windows, but they're not like properly sealed. Like you can take I don't know. They're weird windows, so we don't have the best screens. So I know I'm going to get a massive spider in my room when I've had the window open. But yeah, it's getting to that point where I have to open the window. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to get like a pedestal fan or something. We don't have ceiling fans, so. But yes, it's getting warm here too in my mystery location. Um, all right. So Dharmaphile says, "Oh, so you're in Ireland, Dharmaphile. Hello and welcome. Um, I don't know what time it is there. I know that it's like 9:30 in London right now, but I don't know what the difference in time zone is to Ireland." Sorry, Dharma Files in Ireland and says it's very windy, but it's not too cold for November, about 10 degrees. Hope you all get better weather. Thank you. Thank you. In Australia, this is like the beginning of our like hazardous weather season. Um, yeah, it's always fun times in Australia in late spring, summer, into the summer. Um, yes, can. Yeah, because yeah, beer tastes good with a wedge of lemon. So yeah, adding lemon juice would make sense. Again, I know nothing about beer. I don't drink beer, so but it sounds right. And I do see people like put little bits of lemon or even lime into a beer. Okay, so Jacqueline says it was 31 on Monday in Perth. Okay, cool. Dharma file. So it's the same time. So you're on Greenwich Mean Time as well. Okay, cool. Good to know. And thank you for coming to spend time with us at 9:30 in the morning on a Friday. Thank you. um, yeah, I don't know about like, yeah. So when I look at my analytics, almost 50% of you are from Australia that watch me. So yeah, I'm kind of inclined to keep it at this time because I think it's convenient. Um, yeah. And it's convenient for me, which I guess also matters. But yeah, like I know that it's so because we had like we've gone into daylight savings time, and I know in the UK they've just dropped out of daylight savings time, so it's made the time zones even further apart. Um, or maybe it didn't make them further apart. I don't know. It made it a more inconvenient time for Nikki because Nikki's in the UK. That's my best friend and usual moderator. Um, but yeah, So she has to get up earlier for me to moderate. Okay, cool. So this is a good time for you. Well, look, if it works for more people, that's great. I'm glad. I'm glad. Um, yeah, that's really good. I've heard that too, Ken. That it's always raining or looking like rain in Ireland. Um, I've not been, but it looks beautiful. Um, I'm not sure where Nikki is. I was just checking my phone because I had a notification sound, so I thought it might have been her. She may have just forgotten, which is absolutely fine. She's got her own things going on. Um, yeah, maybe she will drop in at some point, but so far we're fine. And I will keep an eye on, and I will moderate if I need to moderate. But yeah, I miss her too, Ken. Um, okay, so all right. Yes, I knew you were going to be curious about my job hunt. um, I, it's not going that well. So the transcription test, I bombed out on it. I never heard from them again. So I didn't do very well on the transcription test. Um, I think because they wanted speed and accuracy, I gave them accuracy but not speed. Is what I'm guessing was the problem with my yeah. Um, in terms of other jobs, I'm still applying. So I had a look before I came on. I have applied for 65 jobs. Um, I've had one phone call and uh, a few like follow up tests or forms to fill out. Um, but it hasn't gone any further than that. However, I haven't wanted to talk about it because, like, I've not been doing everything I need to do to get a job. So, like, I know that you guys are rooting for me. And in terms of like people like tuning in to what's going on with me, like, you don't want to hear that the person that you're rooting for hasn't like been putting in the work to find a job as hard as they could. I am still applying for things. But yeah, I'm not doing everything I should be. So I printed out some resumes to drop into businesses because I know that if like they see me in person, they might be more likely because I then have a face rather than receiving like 75 applications online and they just see my name. If they see me in person, they're more likely to maybe consider me because they know I don't have two heads or whatever. But I still have that stack of resumes sitting here and I have not been into businesses and dropped them in. But yeah, so I could be doing more. I know I could be doing more. Absolutely. Um, yeah, there's been like some stuff going on in the last few weeks. So I won't go into detail, but basically, um, like some court related things. And I don't mean in terms of my university court related things. And yeah, so it's like I've had to revisit things and go through documentation and that kind of thing that it's not that I never stopped like it's not that I ever stopped thinking about these things, like they're always on my mind, but having to actually read through things and compile things and it's just yeah, it's a little heavy. Um I also I do have like it's probably obvious to you. I do struggle with a bit of like social anxiety. So that's kind of been a barrier to dropping off the resumes. It's like I can yeah, like I struggle to even leave the house sometimes if that makes sense. Like I have to go to safe zones. So this is my safe zone and then the car is another safe zone. But then I might drive somewhere and not be able to get out of the car, um, if that makes sense. So I have attempted to drop into businesses with my resume, but I just haven't gotten there yet. I will do it. It's sort of like it, which is also the problem. So it's obviously easier for me to apply online with my social anxiety. Um, and I figure if I get to the interview stage, I'll be forced to have to overcome it and go to the interview. Like if I were to get through to the interview stage, I will definitely force myself because there's no other option at that point. And I'd be letting this person down if I don't attend. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, both that's it's easier for me to apply online, but it's also easier for like the hundreds of other people to apply online, which is the whole problem. Um, yeah. So yeah, it's not going that well, but it is largely my fault. So yeah, I get that. And yeah, haven't talked about because like nobody wants to hear that someone's and I guess you would say I've been lazy, but I don't feel like I've been lazy because I've been trying every day, but I'm not doing all the things that I could be doing to get work. But it's a yeah. Okay. So now I've talked for ages. I'll see what you guys have said. Okay. Um all right. So Dharma file in relation to Ireland's weather. We miraculously get sun and everyone immediately gets into shorts, even if it's cold, but a lot of rain for sure. Look, I think that's great that you guys appreciate the sun so much that you will bare your skin, even if it's cold, because you need that vitamin D. Absolutely. Okay. Okay. So Jacqueline says, be kind to yourself. Thank you. And Ken says, don't worry about bumming out on the test. Thank you. Look, I did my best, but I was against a whole lot of other people as well, and there was only one position. But yeah, my accuracy was good, but I because it was timed, and so you had to listen to an audio um, and transcribe it. Obviously, I didn't get through a lot of the audio that I was given. I think I was accurate on what I did get through, but yeah, I didn't get enough done. Um, okay, Susan says it's okay. Sorry to pry. No, no, no. You're not prying. I like I've brought this to all of you. Like, so you're not prying. Um, so yeah, don't apologize. It's fine. So Dharma File says any employer would be lucky to get you, Enid. Thank you, Dharma File. I hope so. Um, so Ken says it's all good, Enid. It will happen at the right time. Thank you. Okay. So Greg says now I'm not sharing sheep. I'm back in the air conditioner. I back the air conditioner to the big window of the house. Okay. So it's getting warm, I'm guessing. Hi, Katrina. Sorry. I'm behind on the chat because I've been talking too much. Although is it too much because I'm the only one that can talk? Anyway, I will stop apologizing for things I shouldn't be apologizing for. Okay. Hi, Katrina. It's good to see you. And don't apologize for being late because I was also late and I am the host. Okay. So Wild Blackberry says, I'd say you were doing a lot. Don't forget you work on YouTube too. Oh yes, I have good news about that. So I've been fully monetized, and I think it was about 3 days ago I turned the ads on. So yeah, I'm an official channel that unfortunately you'll have to watch ads to watch my videos. But yeah, so I got fully monetized. So I think from the time I began my channel until I was like joined the partner program and was fully monetized on both tiers, I think it was 3 months. No, it was definitely 3 months. So almost 3 months to the day. I think it was like 1 day short of 3 months. So, yeah, thank you, everyone. Um, I don't know why you keep watching me, but thank you. It's very helpful. Um, yeah, I do have a lot going on, Yasmin. Thank you. Um, yeah. Okay, Demi says, I haven't been looking either. I'm spending very little so I can delay work as long as possible. I feel bad sometimes, but not too bad. Yeah, so basically, I just keep cutting back my food budget more and more and more, to try and like, yeah, make up for the fact that I'm not trying as hard as I should be, um, to get work. I did. So it's called data annotation. Basically, it's work you can do at home online, where you're training AI. So I passed the initial test for that, and I'm through to like the next test. So I've completed that as well. So I'm just waiting. Apparently, it can take up to 10 days for them to approve you. So once they approve you, you've got a dashboard and jobs will come up. Um, yeah. So I mean that would be good. So I think they pay upwards of $20 an hour, for you to train AI. So yeah, I've hopefully that one turns out. Um, yeah. Oh, sorry, Jacqueline. You're probably already gone because I'm behind on the chat. But have an awesome night. Good luck with your coffee making. Uh, yeah, you have a good night too. And I will see you next time or in comments. But yeah, thank you for coming, Jacqueline. And good luck with your job hunt. Okay, so yeah, so Katrina says, I'm always hard on myself. That's one thing people around me complain. Yeah, yeah, me too. Me too. I hear. Uh, it's yeah, it's tough when you can be your own worst enemy. Um, but yeah, you seem like a really awesome person, Katrina. So maybe don't be so hard on yourself. Um, thank you, Dimmy. Dimmy says you'll get that Enid one day at a time. Yes. So Ken says you are fine, Enid. It is fine. You just do you. There's no judgment. We just want to know you're okay. Oh, thank you. Susan says, be encouraged, Enid. It's the way it is, but not your fault. I've had anxiety most of my life. It comes and goes. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. And sometimes it creeps up on you. Like you think you're doing fine, and then you just wake up one morning and you're like, oh, bit of tightness in the chest. Um, oh, thank you everyone for the congratulations on monetization. Um, yeah, it's very exciting. Um, yeah, I just have to actually make more videos. I'm hoping that there will be a video this weekend. It's not a vlog. It's a I filmed it like a week and a half ago. I just haven't had the focus to edit it. It's a like what skincare products I use for my budget skincare, considering like the skin conditions I have. So yeah, it's a like my evening routine, and I just go through my products and how much they cost and how I budget for them. So I don't know. You may not find it interesting. Um, it felt like it was gonna be easier than a vlog, but I think in the end, maybe it hasn't been easier than a vlog, but you gotta try things. Uh, it also feels like the kind of video that might bring in some new viewers if they're interested in budget skincare, but maybe not. We will see how it goes, but I first have to edit it and get it out, but hopefully I will get that out this weekend. But yeah, it's not a vlog, unfortunately. I've got a few bits and pieces, but I haven't filmed enough to actually make a vlog recently. I always film my funky food boxes, like unboxing of those. Um, so I mean, technically, I could just like slap those together and show you 3 or 4 funky food box unboxings. But yeah, I prefer to do a vlog, and I will. I just need to start filming again, basically. Um, but I prefer doing vlogs. Just I haven't been filming very much. Um, I'm fashionably late. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. Um, oh, hello, Amy, and thank you. So Amy says, because you are lovely. Congrats on the monetization. In response to me, like I don't know why you're watching me. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Um, oh, yeah, thank you, Wild Blackberry. She says, make sure you buy something deliciously decadent to celebrate with your first paycheck. Yeah. Maybe a block of chocolate. I mean, that sounds really good. Um, yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, Katrina. I've got 2 messages from you I haven't read. Let me just skim forward and then I will go back and read and respond because it seems like your messages might need more attention than just the congratulations that I'm responding to. Sorry, I'm coming back to you. Thank you, Dharmaphile. Congrats on being monetized. Hi, Ernie. Thank you for watching. Okay, so Greg says, I'm down to 2 meals per day. I'm still putting on weight. Yeah. Sometimes you can eat a lot in 2 meals and not that much in 3 meals. I have no recommendations, but I hear you. Weight's just one of those things, especially as we get older. It's a struggle. Hi, Camden. Camden says, I really love the calmness of your vids and your adorable kid. She is very adorable. She was a bit naughty today. She wasn't happy with how long it was taking me to get her dinner. And I had put her dry food in what I thought were cat-proof glass jars. She's worked out how to like slide it off, like out of the corner and off the shelf and knock it over. And then the lid has popped off and yeah. All right. So now I'm going back up to read what you've said, Katrina. I'm sorry to leave you hanging. Okay. So Katrina says, let's talk. I don't like my partner's parents. I've had a child with my partner, but now I've spent some time with his parents. I don't think I like them at all. Yeah. Okay. I've had a similar experience. All right, next. My trip down the coast was shithouse. Oh, I'm sorry. My car broke down on the way home, and my neighbor had to come rescue my baby and my partner and me because NRMA won't take kids when you get a tow. Okay. That does not sound fun. I'm sorry, Katrina. Um, that really sucks. I don't know if you've mentioned, I'm gonna keep reading, but was the trip okay before you broke down on the way home? Like, was that the big thing that swayed it in the it was terrible, or was it already terrible before you broke down? I'm really glad that you had a neighbor that could come and get your baby and partner and you. Yeah. Okay. Um, all right. So Katrina says, my car is now fixed $560 later. Water pump went on it. Oh, I'm sorry. That mustn't have been fun. Car was smoking. Lucky I didn't cook the whole car. Okay, well, yeah, I guess in the grand scheme of things, if 560 got you back on the road, that's not too bad. And yeah, I guess it could have been a lot worse. So I'm really sorry that that's happened. Um, that sounds really stressful. Okay, so Katrina says, I just hate how fake they are when I'm around. I can tell they're annoyed. I'm with their son and had a child with their son. Yeah, that sounds really uncomfortable. Um, I know it doesn't help in the moment, but it really says more about them than it does about you. And I'm sure deep down you know that, but it doesn't make it any more pleasant. And you're obviously going to think, you know, that there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Like, as someone who has sons, um, I would never treat their partner that way. Because I wouldn't treat another human being that way, and I wouldn't want to make them feel that way. And I'm sure you wouldn't either. So the fact that they're making you feel that way when they're in a position of power, obviously, um, and because they're a family group, so you're the odd one out. Like, you're always like, I would want to make you feel more comfortable because you're in that position. You know what I mean? I'd want to be more welcoming to you because you might feel out of place. So the fact that they're going in the opposite direction and making you feel like that says more about them than it does about you, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I'm really sorry because you have to interact with them because you obviously want your son to have a relationship with them. Um, so yeah, that's very tough. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. All right. Have I caught up? Not yet. Um, yeah, I feel similarly, Ken, about fake people. Um, uh, yeah, good advice, Dimmy. Keep visits short and far between. You can't please everyone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like you want your son to have a relationship with them, but at the end of the day, you're mum, so you take precedent. So you got to look after you and your son. So, like, yeah, yeah. Basically, I agree with Dimmy. Um, okay, that's no good. Yeah, so your son had a fever and you wanted to take your son to the hospital, and his mother had an argument with your choices. Yeah, that's not cool. Because the thing is, like, you're worried. So, and also you have instincts. So if you know that this is the time to go to the hospital, then you gotta go to the hospital. Like, yeah, in that moment, their opinion doesn't have that much weight. But then you're in an awkward position because you have to listen to her opinion. But yeah, that sounds very, very awkward. I am sorry, especially when you're also worried about your son being sick. You don't really need that extra stress. Yes, Ken, she is quite clever, aren't you, Bella? Oh, I haven't shown you the V. There she is. What you doing, babes? You pretending to be asleep? I don't think you are asleep. Okay, you don't want to be on camera. Okay, cool. Are we fine? Okay, cool. Yeah, she is quite clever. She's a thief, but she's a very cute thief. So I'll give her that. All right. Okay, so Katrina says, I would just love a Christmas at home with just my partner and child. I really hope next year we just stick to our guns and say, no, we're having Christmas at home. Yeah, especially as your little one gets older. I remember having to go between families' houses when our kids were young. And it's not really fair because they've just gotten new toys and new things and they want to play with them at home. And you've got to like disrupt them and take them somewhere. Yeah, it's a bit hard, I think. I know some people have a rule where they have the kids, so the grandparents come to them. But that's got other issues too, because your parents might have opinions about how you keep your homes. You might not want to have them on Christmas. So, yeah, it's tough. Interesting, Greg. So Greg says, I threw my wife's family out. They treat her badly. They are all divorced, and my wife and I are not. Yeah. Yeah, not all families are good. Yeah, not all families are good families, unfortunately. Not everybody wants the best for us. And yeah, sometimes you just gotta make those decisions. Susan's, I think cats spend the whole day observing and formulating strategies. I really think they do. So that magpie that comes to the back door, I have intentionally not fed the magpie because I can see Vela off in the distance. She is observing the patterns of the magpie. Because obviously, if she just went straight head to head, he's got a very sharp beak. But I can see her off in the distance observing the patterns of this magpie. So if I start feeding the magpie, then I am aiding her in her murderous ways. And so I am not going to feed the magpie, as cute as the magpie is. So, yes, they do. They're very good at it. They'll observe and take their time. We had an old cat like before Valor, and he was so old. Well, he wasn't that old. He was only 15, but he always had bad teeth, and so he basically would gum mice to death. But he knew the path of the mice in our back garden, so he was very slow and old, but he just knew where to sit. And the mice just came to him if he was patient. But yeah, it was awful. He'd gum them to death because he had barely any teeth left. Yeah, I did not envy those mice. At least a quick death is a quick death. But okay. My skin. Oh, I don't. Honestly, I think it's the lighting. Here, let me turn the light off and show you. Yeah, it's the light. It's the light. My skin is not that great. And I'm not using the light to try and mislead you on how good my skin looks. It's just I think for video making, like I need okay lighting. Um, yeah. But thank you. Do I take any vitamins? The only vitamins I take is I take vitamin C with my iron supplement. So just vitamin C. Uh, Historically, I have had a very healthy diet and I eat a lot of fruit and vegetables. That's kind of I'm not eating as much fruit as I used to eat because I just can't afford it at the moment. But also, oh, something I do for my skin. I've got a beef gelatin, and I put a teaspoon of that in my first coffee of the day. So yeah, I take beef gelatin, vitamin C, and an iron supplement, and that's it. Um, but yeah, I used to eat a lot of fruit and vegetables, like and a variety, which probably helped with my skin. But yeah, at the moment, not so much. Um, but I'm sure that will change. Um, where am I up to? Ah, that's good, Greg. That my home is a happy home, wife is happy, and the kids are happy. Perfect. Well, then it sounds like you and your wife made the right decision to disconnect from that side of the family. Yeah, yeah, it is, Ken. So Ken says we're approaching the festive season, and it tends to be a sketchy time bringing families together, etc. Yeah, um, yeah, definitely. That's true, Demi. Toxicity comes in many forms, can be your family or it could be your partner's family. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, it'll be both. Um, yeah, I hear you, Katrina. Katrina says, my son's little. I'd love a Christmas tree for him and let him open presents for Christmas instead of being stuck in a car, traveling and waiting for the afternoon to open up presents. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you, Demi. Yes, if you would like to give me a thumbs up, that would be lovely. Thank you. Um, oh, okay. So your in-laws told you not to bring your son's presents to the family celebration because you bought your son expensive gifts and other kids would take them from your son. Okay, look, that seems illogical to me. That sounds like those children that are going to steal your son's presents should be disciplined or like guided away from doing such activities. That's not something that you should be worried about. That should be those children's parents or grandparents' problem, not your problem. I'm sorry. Yes, wild blackberry. Probably that is it. Yeah. So you've heard that cats present gifts to us because they feel so bad that we can't hunt effectively. Yes. And Vela is a relatively lazy cat. Like she doesn't really hunt, but the problem is if something walks near her or like yeah, I wouldn't if I was the magpie, I wouldn't trust her. But I haven't seen her do anything, but I did see her like crack an eye open and have a little look at what the magpie was doing. So um Yeah, that's good, Greg. So Greg put his foot down and had Christmas at home with his wife and kids. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard. Um, yeah. And like, yes, you should if like if it's a healthy environment, then yeah, you might have to make some sacrifices to get the family together. But then like growing up, I like my family hung out with a particular segment of so both my parents come from families with 9 children, um, but they're like lower in the birth order. So a lot of my cousins were like adults when I was born, if that makes sense. So the family members, it was my mum's brother, her favorite brother. We'd spend Christmases together, and they just picked a different day to see the other side of the family. You know what I mean? So they had Christmas Day with us, and then they'd do Boxing Day and do the Christmas thing with the other side of the family. So I mean that works too. So you pick a different day because like the day is just the day. You could move it to Boxing Day and do all those celebrations on Boxing Day if you wanted to accommodate everyone. But some people like get really possessive over no, it has to be Christmas Day or it has to be the way I want it to be and I can't be flexible. I just think everybody should be flexible where possible. Um, oh, thank you, Jane. My skin still looked good with that. Okay, thank you, thank you. Look, you probably can't really see how bad it is, but thank you. Look, I will. I got to stop deflecting compliments. So I, thank you. Um, um, so Katrina says, last Christmas they left my gifts up at the house, and my son didn't get to open any on Christmas Day until the afternoon. And you really hope he's not forgotten this year. That's not good, Katrina. That's not good at all. Where is the beef gelatin from? I do know. I think it's Nutraviva. Nutraviva. Yeah, Nutraviva. They've got a few different beef gelatins. You've got to buy like a big packet to get it for an okay price. And sometimes they have discounts during the year where you can buy like 3 packets for a discounted price. So maybe, yeah, check them out, have a look. They do collagen as well, which obviously dissolves better and is more easily absorbed by your body. But the gelatin is cheaper and it does the trick too. I think there's more steps for your body to break down the gelatin versus collagen, where they've already done some of the processing for you. Yeah, it's definitely much, much cheaper than any collagen that you'll buy from the supermarket because you can buy it in a big packet. So, yeah, have a look. I haven't had to buy it for a long time. I don't know if I'll be able to buy it when I run out, but for now, I've still got heaps. So, I just use 1 teaspoon a day. Yeah, and it dissolves fine in a hot liquid. But yeah. Where was I up to? I've gone back too far. Yes, I get what you're saying, Susan. I was like, who's defective? Humans are defective compared to cats. We kind of are. Like, if I see a mouse, I need to get tools to try and catch this mouse. She just needs to like observe the mouse for a little while and then leap at the right time. So yeah, look, she's much better at murder than I am, but I guess humans have their ways. But I can see from a cat's perspective why they think we're defective at hunting. They must be really curious about how we keep bringing these kills home when we bring the meat home. But yeah. Oh, hello, Patrice. Sorry, I didn't see you there. How are you doing, Patrice? Are you well? And thank you for hoping that I am well. I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm still functioning, so this is good. I'm getting and you hope the coming new year is a great one for us all. Me too. Thank you. Beef gelatin. Yeah, it's like a dried. Yeah, so I guess the normal gelatin that you would buy like in the bakery section in the supermarket is usually like the gelatin that you like dissolve in the hot water. Um, this is more like a supplement, but it is the same thing. You can make like a jelly out of it, but I don't. If I were to make my coffee and then leave it to go cold, I think it would like solidify a bit, depending on how much you'd put in it. I used to make like a hot chocolate every morning with the beef gelatin. Um, and if I left that sit, it would solidify. And then it was like a dessert. Um, a lot of people will use collagen powder instead. They'll put it in like smoothies. Um, Beef gelatin is a little less convenient because I don't think that it would dissolve in a cold smoothie. You would have to dissolve it in hot water first. But because I only put it in hot drinks, it's totally fine. Um, I don't ever wear mascara, but I have very long lashes, but it's because of the beef gelatin. So if I stop taking the beef gelatin, I notice that my eyelashes get shorter. So it's good for hair growth. I know that much. I don't know if it's actually helping my skin, but it is helping my hair. So I tend to think that it's doing something. I originally started using it because I've got like gut problems, and apparently it's good for gut health. I haven't noticed it helped my gut health, but um, it does make my hair grow thicker. So there's that. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure, Demi, what the powdery stuff you're talking about at the supermarket is. But yeah, it's basically a supplement, a dietary supplement. But I don't think they sell this type of beef gelatin in the supermarket, but they do sell collagen for the same purpose. But the beef gelatin is a bit cheaper. Okay. All right. All right. Dharmaphile says, what would stop you staying home, Katrina? In your shoes, I would want to. Yeah, that is a good question. So obviously, is it family pressure? Would your partner not go for that? Would your partner be open to? Because really, it should probably be him drawing a line in the sand with his parents. Um, unfortunately, he should. Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah, Katrina, look, that is totally valid and completely reasonable that you would love to have a Christmas tree and for your son to wake up, eat pancakes, and open his gifts. Like that's something that you should have the right to do. So yeah, I'm curious too. What's stopping you from being able to do that? Um, so your son's still young, but moving forward, yeah, I mean, I think that's completely reasonable for you to want that. Um, Yeah, I agree, Ken. It gets tricky trying to negotiate with family dynamics. Absolutely. Demi, you're cooking at a food bank. Wonderful. Hello, Mr. Goo. Nice to see you. I've just started calling you Mr. Goo because you called yourself Mr. Goo once, and it's just stuck in my mind. So I apologize if you don't like it. But like you said, it's not your legal name. So if I kind of mess it up, I'm sure it's fine. I won't be offending your mother for renaming you. Um, Oh, Greg. So your last cat would bring home baby brown snakes and the cat died. Did the cat die from a snake bite or Okay, there are too many brown snakes this year. Oh, okay. That's not good. I'm I'm definitely not as worried about snakes where I am now. Where I previously lived, we originally when we moved there, so we were there for 3 years before I left, and there was a variety of snakes around the house site. Um, Lots of adorable pythons, which are totally fine. Um, but we had quite a few tree snakes when we first moved there. But over time, I don't know if coastal taipans eat other snakes or if they just scared them off. But we ended up where, like, we used to see a variety of different snakes, and then we were just seeing coastal taipans, which are not nice snakes. And everything I read about coastal taipans said that they're not particularly aggressive, but that was not our experience with these coastal taipans. I don't know. These guys were just different. Yeah, they were very territorial and like it was our territory. So usually a snake will be gone before you even see it most of the time. But these coastal taipans, they really like didn't want to. So we had like stepping stones out of like pavers that we got from Bunnings. Because it was very muddy, we had to put in some pavers, but they weren't like it wasn't paved properly. It was we'd drop them at, yeah, basically whatever distance I could leap between them. Um, yeah, so look, it's understandable that a snake wants to sun itself on the paver. How to get onto this? Cats and snakes. Yes, Vela was very good at scaring off snakes. Um, yeah, yeah. So I'm glad that I don't have to worry as much about stepping on a snake right now, but yeah, I'm I hear you on the snakes. I used to be very, very scared of snakes, and I still am. Like, we should all be scared of snakes, but I did become a little more desensitized to them over time. Um, but yeah, Bella was very good. If I made a, because I've almost stepped on a snake, she'd come running. And I did see her, like, I guess she was fighting with a snake and it just ran off eventually. So I did see her at the edge of a clearing, like having a bit of a this with something, and it turned out it was a snake. Sorry, yeah. Cats are good for scaring away snakes, but not if they get bitten, obviously, because then you can lose your cat. Fortunately, Vala never got bitten, so she's really very lazy and she likes to hang around me all the time. So she wasn't often far away from me, even though we lived on a big property. Uh, Bye, Susan. Thank you for coming. And maybe I'll see you next time or in the comments. But yeah, thank you. It was great to have you. Ah, yes. So, Dimmy, I recall, Ken says, Dimmy, I recall you said that you were cooking 200 kilos of potatoes. Yes, I remember that too. Is there a potato shortage? Okay. If there's a potato shortage, that explains why there were no potatoes in my latest funky food box. I thought that was odd, but yeah, okay. Cats have a resistance to snake venom to a certain point. Oh, okay. So I guess even if she was bitten, maybe I wouldn't know. Maybe not a coastal taipan though. Like they're pretty venomous. I hear you, Katrina. I am not a fan of those three things either: snakes, sharks, or spiders. I'm not the biggest fan of actually going in the ocean in general. I really like walking on the beach, but I can really take or leave actually going in the water. There's just too many things that can kill you in the water, especially up north where I was. Yeah. And it's like they say that not that many people die from irukandji stings, but then there are a whole lot of drownings, right? So how would we know if that person drowned because they were stung by an irukandji and were in excruciating pain, or if they just drowned because of other reasons. So I don't know. I feel like irukandjis might be taking out more people than we're giving them credit for. And we had box jellyfish at certain times of year as well. And my concern was, yes, we had like netted enclosures, but because I would go for walks on the beach a lot, so if the tide was out, I could see the netted enclosure, and they always have holes in them. Like sometimes the council will close them to repair the nets, but other times they'll go months without repairing these nets because, yeah. And irukandjis must be able to get through the nets anyway. So I guess it kept out the box jellyfish, but yeah, I spent a lot of time at the beach, but not actually in the water because I'm just too scared of sharks and jellyfish and just anything else that might be in the ocean. But yeah, it's probably a partially irrational fear, and maybe I should have spent more time in the water. But yeah. So I hear you. I agree, Katrina. I'm scared of those things too. And I really don't like spiders. But when I mostly lived outside, I had to get used to spiders. Um, yeah. So we would have like our resident spider in our toilet shed. We'd have several of them, and you just get used to them. I'm okay with spiders if I know where they are. It's the ones that come out from behind your bed unexpectedly, or the spider that your cat drops on your bed in the middle of the night. Those ones, yeah, very scary. And then there's the little ones that you don't see that are venomous. Sorry. Okay, so Greg, you got a new cat after your poor cat passed away, and he stays inside most of the time. Yeah, Bella's pretty good. She usually just follows me around, or she'll stay within a radius of me. So she's not much of a wanderer. If anything, I have to force her to go outside sometimes and get some fresh air. To be fair, I should also be outside getting fresh air. And maybe that's what she's saying to me when she's scratching at the door when she's only been out there for 5 minutes. Maybe she's saying, Mum, you should come out here too. But instead I say, no, Vella, you can't come back in. Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious too if there's a potato shortage. Okay, where am I up to? The chat jumps sometimes, so it'll, yeah. Anyway, it's doing a thing. I'm trying to see where I was up to, which I'm sure is riveting viewing for you. Oh, Valley, your tail's in shot. Okay. So Demi says, yeah, that's right. There's a potato shortage. It's a while away. Okay. Fewer potatoes on the shelf and prices have gone up. That's not good because potatoes are one of the cheapest vegetables. All right. So Ken, you don't celebrate Christmas, so you've got no dramas there. All right. 5 kilos of potatoes for $20. Okay. That seems expensive. Yeah. Okay, Dharma. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Ireland doesn't have any snakes, do they? Not even one. I think the UK, there's one very shy adder somewhere that technically could cause harm if it bit you, but it never does because it's a really shy snake. I think that's what I read. That in the UK, at least, there is one snake. But I mean, there might be more than one snake. Just there's one that technically has a little bit of venom. But yeah, it's an adder and nobody ever sees it. Okay, so Greg, wow, potato shortage. We are the potato capital in South Australia where I live. Okay. Well, I guess that means that you should be able to grow your own potatoes if you need to, if you've got the right climate for it. Oh, okay, so the Smith's Chips factory is up the road from you. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, wild blackberry. I think you're talking about the me noticing the thicker hair from the collagen and the gelatin. Yeah, I think so. Ah, Katrina, so you got blackberries today for $2 and you and your son enjoyed them. Awesome. And Demi makes fruit gummies with gelatin and fruit juice. Yeah, good idea. Um, just honestly putting the teaspoon in my coffee because I can make it a habit and I don't really notice the taste, so it's fine. That's just the easiest way for me because I don't have to pre-prepare anything. I just chuck it in and it's become a habit. Yeah. Okay, Katrina. All right. So his parents have some struggles, which might be also contributing to the issues you're having. Um, all right. So, Ken, your family didn't celebrate Christmas. We never had a tree or celebrated it. So, I never have paid much attention to it. Yeah, that makes sense. 2 p.m. Hey, Katrina. Okay. It's pretty early. Okay. Weather must have been too humid for potatoes in Victoria. Yeah, maybe. So when I lived up north, um, in the tropics, there were a lot of things. It was just too humid to grow, and the problem is you don't have like my issue. Like lots of like basically anything can grow in the tropics. Like things grow like a weed, obviously, um, but you don't have long enough cold periods to kill off a lot of the pests. So I was still trying to learn how to grow things up there. Um, yeah, I'm originally from Southeast Queensland, so not not as humid as where I was living before here. Um, okay, good to hear, Mr. Goo. Um, sorry, my chair is making noises. So Katrina says, I think the best gift I would give my son for Christmas will be a bike every year. That sounds nice. Yeah, so as he gets bigger and upgrades to the next size. Okay, it's just jumped again. Where was I up to? Um, no, Annie, I didn't see your previous message. I'm sorry. So, hello, Annie. Good to see you. So Annie says, Hi, Enid. I don't know if my comment posted before, so hello and hope you're well. Thank you. I hope you are well too. Just got back from a night drive somewhere with my kitties, yeah. So we can have some chat time at the end of a busy week. Ah, just got back from that. Oh, okay. Sorry, I understand what you're saying. So you went for a drive to chat with your kids. Beautiful. Um, my favorite thing at this time of year with my kids was we would drive around for hours looking for anyone with Christmas lights. And I know we could have looked up, like, because there's, notice boards and stuff that tell you where the Christmas lights are. But we would go in search of Christmas lights and spend many hours driving around different suburbs looking for Christmas lights. That was fun. And it's always nice, yes, to chat with the kids when you're all in one space and hopefully nobody can look at a screen because yeah, yeah, it's a good plan. I used to love doing that with my kids, driving around and chatting. All right, Ken, your mum had a python in her carport. Like, they're lovely snakes, pythons. I didn't used to feel that way. I used to freak out about them. I'm not saying that I would want to touch them. but they are nice snakes as far as snakes go. I've never been someone that would want a pet snake, though I can understand it. Oh, Bella, you kind of are in frame now. Good job. Um, yeah. Okay, sorry, I was talking about pythons. I've gotten sidetracked because I can see a cat. It's very hard when you can see a cat. It's very hard to like focus because you can see a cat. All right, so where you are, Greg, in South Australia, you don't have pythons. You just have brown snakes and red bellies. Okay. So the really exciting snakes then. Yeah, we had lots of different types of tree snakes. And we had some pythons, some bigger than others, some definitely big enough to swallow Vela. But they didn't, thank goodness. And yeah, we had lots of coastal taipans by the end there. I don't know why, but we did. And the first time I saw a coastal taipan, I thought it was so this coastal taipan was in the same spot that I had been seeing the same tree snake every morning. And it was a very cute tree snake. And when I first saw this coastal taipan, I actually, because I'd been meaning to take a photo, because one of my sons really likes snakes, like he wants a pet snake. And I went to take photos of this tree snake. And I took the photo and I sent it to him. And then like I didn't get close to it. Like I'd zoomed in. I wasn't close to the snake. But then I slowly looked back at the photo that I had sent him. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't think that is a tree snake. And I definitely don't think it's the tree snake that I've been seeing every morning. And yeah, my son confirmed, Mum, that's not a tree snake. I swear there was a tree snake before and it was replaced by the coastal taipan. I don't know if he believes me. He might have just thought that I was like, oh, cute little snake. And I'd been looking at a coastal taipan the whole time. But I swear there was a tree snake that was keeping me company in the morning. And then suddenly it was replaced by a coastal taipan, which is not cute and friendly like a tree snake. Not that I would recommend approaching any snake. And I didn't. I did zoom in. I wasn't close to it. Okay, Katrina says a red back in your mailbox almost got you. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's particularly scary when you have been putting your hand in somewhere over and over again, and then you realize there was a spider there the whole time. Very disconcerting. Okay, Katrina, so you love sharks, but you just wouldn't want to be eaten by one. That is a very reasonable position to have on sharks. It's totally fine that they exist and they can be pretty to look at, but yeah, I don't blame you for not wanting to be eaten by one. I don't think there's many people that do, to be honest, but I don't know. But yeah, I think that's a very reasonable position. All right, has anyone ever seen a great white shark in real life? That's my biggest dream, but I wouldn't want to be eaten. Yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't seen one in real life. I've seen whales and dolphins, not too far off the coast, but yeah. I don't think I've even seen any kind of shark in the ocean, like in real life, personally. Okay, no snakes in Ireland. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, look, keep it that way. You are an island, so that's a good way to keep the snakes out. Yeah. Okay, cool. Good to know. And that makes sense about St. Patrick banishing them. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, Ken, you've seen signs around Palm Cove in Queensland saying crocs were sighted and you see people swimming, just crazy. Yeah, and I will see people, like I would see people in the water during box jellyfish season, and there are signs everywhere. I guess people just think it's not going to happen to them. But yeah, crocodile sounds like a really horrendous way to die to me. So, um, yeah. Um, no, I wouldn't personally be messing around in croc infested waters. But yeah. Oh, okay. So Mr. Goo says our daughter was born in a heat wave. When we first came back from the hospital, we left the car running and I ran inside to prepare the cot. Pulled back the sheet and there was a huge white tail in there. Okay. Okay. Um yeah. Not not the kind of thing that you would like to find in your baby's cot. I'm glad you found it before you put the baby in there. Yeah, white tails are dangerous. Yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah. Okay, so Annie says we love looking for lights. Tonight my daughter was particularly excited by a lit up crane. Huh. Nice. Yeah, one year we could see a tree that had lights all over it in the distance, and we were just driving trying to find this tree. And it turned out it was like in the middle of a massive paddock. Um, yeah, it took us several nights to work out where the tree was, but it was fun. It was fun trying to find this lit up tree. Um, okay. Okay, yeah, that's a good point, Annie. So Annie says a man I work with told me we have a lot of baby copperheads, but the biggest risk is baby snakes because they don't know how to control their venom as they panic. Yeah, makes sense. And I agree, Dimmy. Snakes are just too much. Okay, and Katrina saw on Facebook a blue tree snake. It looked pretty. Yeah, there are some really pretty tree snakes. We mostly had yellow bellied blacks and yeah, like a gray one, which was why I thought that the coastal taipan was a tree snake because it was kind of a similar shade to the tree snake I'd been seeing. But I think like the difference was that the coastal taipan was like a duller gray. So once I noticed it, I noticed it. They also have like a coffin shaped head, coastal taipans, but whereas the tree snakes are more like a cute rounded head. Not that I'm saying to identify snakes from anything I'm saying. Also, it probably varies so much from area to area. Um, Thank you, Dharmophile. Yeah, a lot of people are brave with the snake, sharks, and spiders. Um, I guess it's just you have to be. Also, a lot of us don't ever really see snakes. Um, we all see spiders, but a lot of people will live in areas and in especially like really urbanized areas where they never see any snakes. So my first like 25 years of life in Australia, I had never seen a snake. Um, and I didn't go to the beach, so like I didn't see sharks either. So I went a very long time without seeing snakes or sharks. Um, but yes, spiders. We all see spiders. That's universal across Australia, I think. I could be wrong. There might be areas like there's a lot of climate zones in Australia, so I could be wrong. But I think we all see spiders. They might just be different types. Um, but we don't all see snakes. So you could come to Australia, Dharmophile, and not see any snakes. unless you went somewhere specifically to see snakes at like an aquarium or something. And you could very likely not see any sharks. So, spiders, if you were to come to Australia, yeah, you'd have to come to grips with the fact that you're probably going to see spiders, but you could definitely come to Australia and not see sharks or snakes. Um, yeah. I just lived on a property for a while. And before I lived on the property, it was an urbanized area, but not terribly urbanized. So, yeah, there were some snakes there. Um, but if you live like in the middle of Brisbane City in a built up area, you're probably not going to see a snake unless you go to a park and there happens to be one. But yeah. Your response from my comments, I sound like a nut. Promise I'm not. No, you don't come across as a nut. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but no, you definitely don't sound like a nut, Katrina. You're fine. Um, Greg, you're going to get your wife to hold a dead chicken and see if the great white shark gets either your wife or the dead chicken. Um, I just don't feel like your wife's going to go for this plan. Um, could you not dangle the chicken on the end of like a fishing line or something? Could you not do that instead of your wife having to go out with the chicken? I don't know. I just don't think this is a safe plan. Okay, so Katrina, I assume you're asking me because you can't see anyone else. So, Katrina, you said, how do you feel talking to people on the internet? You don't look like you would have spent your lifetime on the internet. This must all be a big change for you. Wow, interesting. Um, I would say since the age of 13, I have spent more time on the internet than I have off of the internet. So, yeah. Uh, yeah, it's probably not a big change for me. It's a big change in that I'm not typing. Um, that I'm actually like speaking to a camera and a microphone. Um, yeah. So my family got a PC in the home probably earlier than most families in the 90s. So I think I was 8 when we got our first computer. Um, my family didn't have money, but my dad, one of his bosses, he worked in like a warehouse. He's like a foreman in a warehouse, and one of his bosses had won a 286 computer on the radio, and he went to pick up the prize, and he's like, I have no idea what this is, like the prize. And he's like, why would I even want this? And my dad saw this computer and he's like, hey, I'll give you $50 for it. And yeah, so that's how we got our first computer. It was um, a prize on a radio program that somebody didn't want, and my dad saw the value in it. But obviously, I wasn't on the internet when I was 8 because it wasn't really around. But yeah, I just loved computers from the first moment that we got that. I used to like write stories in WordPerfect, and I used to play with like spreadsheets. That would be a game to me. I don't know why it was a game to me, but I was 8 and I just really wanted to play on the computer. But I didn't have games for a while. I just had whatever was there. And then we did get the internet, but it used to be you would pay per minute. And so I think I was 12 and I found it was called Comic Chat. It was on Windows, and you could talk to people all around the world on on Comic Chat, and you like it came up as a comic strip. And yeah, so I'm like, oh my goodness, I can talk to people. And I found a pen pal from Canada at that time. Like nobody was scared back then, I guess, of being preyed upon on the internet. So that would have been 1996. I was on Comic Chat, but I also began skipping school and staying home and going on the internet. Uh, and of course, eventually my parents found out because they got the bill because they were billed per minute, or was it per hour? I don't know. It was very, very expensive. I ran up a massive internet bill. And then I found, then we got AOL. And so you could chat to people on AOL. So I would chat on there. Then I got AOL Instant Messenger. So when we weren't on AOL anymore, there was still, it was called AIM. And then ICQ. I still sometimes dream of the alert noise of ICQ. So yeah, I had lots of friends on the internet, not so many friends in real life. It's quite interesting because I've been doing a bit of research about undiagnosed ADHD, especially in women, and a psychiatrist from the UK was like, he basically described my life and my issues with schooling. So apparently, people like, especially girls that had ADHD, where the hyperactivity was happening in their mind, not externally. So they weren't a problem in the classroom. Often, a lot of us just, if we were intelligent enough, we could just like make it through school. Like I never one day in my life did I ever do homework in primary school or secondary school. I just never did homework. Um, so yeah, we could make it through and we could do well, but at some point you'd get to a point where like you actually had to study. So I'd be able to do like assessments the day they were due, kind of thing, and get away with it. But I dropped out after year 10 because that often happens. Because once you get to year 11 and 12, it like you actually have to study, and I didn't have the concentration. So what people with ADHD will often do is they don't have concentration, so they will replace it with adrenaline. So like something is an emergency, and so I've got this surge of adrenaline, and then I can focus because it's an emergency. You know what I mean? So we get into this habit of doing that. Um, how did I get into this? Oh, I was skipping school and going on the internet. So yeah, I spent a lot of time on the internet. Um, I did experience like lots of much older men, I guess, grooming me, but I was always smart enough to not actually accept the plane ticket to New Zealand or to Sydney, fortunately. Yeah, so I have spent a lot of time on the internet, uh, even in terms of. Um, for a while there, I had community in World of Warcraft, like when it originally came out. So the original Vanilla WoW. Uh, don't know if anybody's familiar with World of Warcraft, but when it first came out, like 2004, 2005, um, that was like my community, like my guild on World of Warcraft. They were my people. Um, so yeah, I would say my community has usually been online. Though I became, I guess, isolated even online in like the last decade. But yeah. So yeah, being online, not new. Being in front of a camera, actually speaking and people listening to me, that's fairly new. So yeah. Uh, yeah, I don't want to let people down. And I don't feel that I'm enough to keep you entertained. And that I'm definitely going to disappoint you at some point, if not already. So that's probably a struggle, not so much that I'm online. Okay, that was a huge diversion. Let me come back to what people are actually talking about. Um, Oh, Greg says she married me for my humor, I think. Okay, so she would laugh when you suggested that she go out with a dead chicken, but she would know that you were joking. So that's good. That's good. Um, I assume that's what we're talking about. Um, yeah, I hear you, Ken. You feel really off about swimming in any water in Queensland. Yeah, look, obviously it's safer the further south in Queensland that you go. And like blue bottles, they will sting, but they won't kill you. But who wants to be stung by a jellyfish, even if it's not going to kill? What are you doing? Hello? What are we doing? You can't go out the window, baby. Part of me is worried that there is a spider there, and that's what she's looking for. But anyway, um, so Ken says, I've been swimming at Horseshoe Bay near Bowen since I was in nappies. I wouldn't get in the water there now. Yeah, yeah. That is a great way to be, Katrina. So Katrina says, computers scare me. When I was a child in school, I was so used to playing outside and doing normal things. Then having classes with computers, I would cry. They seemed so scary when I was a kid. Look, that is the better way to be. Um, Definitely. I did not play outside. Um, I didn't live in a very nice area. We were in housing commission, but that's not a reason why I didn't go outside. I just would stay, like, even before we had a computer, I would just stay inside and read. My brother and sister are both much older than me, so they left home when I was 5. So, whilst I do have siblings, they didn't really live with me. Um, yeah, so I didn't go outside and play. So I think, um, in terms of, like, generations, like, I'm a millennial, but I'm not a millennial that played outside. So I know a lot of millennials did. So I'm probably like more towards the younger millennials in that regard. Of I didn't go outside and play with my friends. Also, I was sent to a school that was a Christian school that was away from where I lived. So none of my friends lived near me, and none of my friends wanted to, like, I don't know. I lived in a bad area, and so I learned as a kid not to talk about where I was from. Um, because they all lived in nicer areas than me. So I guess there was that too. I didn't have friends from school that lived near me because my school, I had to like take a school bus to get there. I don't know where I'm going with this. But no, I think that's great that you actually played outside, Katrina. Like, that is so much better developmentally than what I did. Absolutely. Like, maybe my social anxiety wouldn't be so bad had I like gone outside and played with kids. Um, Though even when I was at school, like, I struggled to connect with people, I think because of neurodivergence. So it was a bit of both. So I was skipping school because school made me anxious being around other kids, and I don't know. And yeah, um, I didn't. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's good. That's great, Katrina. Like, computers are overrated. As long as you can use it for what you need to use it for, yeah, the less time you spend on it, the better. Is better for your eyes, it's better for your mental health. Um, I'm sure it's better for all outcomes in life. So yours is the better way. Mine is not a good way to be. Also, I was very neglected as a child. So the internet was kind of like nobody spoke to me at home, and I couldn't connect with my peers. So I was talking to people online, but that's not always a good thing when there are predatory people. So, um, where am I up to? Okay. Oh, interesting, Greg. So Greg says, after shearing 800,000 sheep, I've got a good sense of humor and patience. Sheep mess with our heads. You've seen many sheep farmers go mad. Really? Very interesting. I had no idea. right, so Katrina says, I just couldn't adapt to a computer in 2006. I was really scared to press all the buttons and having to stare at a screen. I was shocked. Yeah, yeah. And I hope people didn't make you feel bad back then that you weren't really into computers because actually, yeah, you were right. It's not intuitively human to be looking at screens. Yeah, Dharmophile. Yeah. Really interesting about undiagnosed ADHD, similar with autism, often not picked up in girls. Yeah, absolutely. Because of the way, like, partially because of the way we're conditioned to act as girls, and also because the hyperactivity is often internalized in girls, which also might be a conditioned response, like that girls have to be nice and well behaved, and yeah, or maybe just like functionally the way the female brain is wired, maybe the hyperactivity is just more likely to go on in their heads. Yeah. All right. So, Katrina, growing up, I would be riding bikes and playing. Can you stop scratching on the door, please? Bella? All right. I'm sorry if that's loud. I'm not going to let her out right now. Um, Growing up, I would be riding bikes and playing soccer or football or playing with other kids. No computers, but school changed that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, forcing you to sit inside for hours and hours and hours every day and stare at a computer screen. Yeah, I agree, Ken. So Ken says, Katrina, your reaction is brilliant. That's how we should all feel about computers. It's not good for our minds to be on screens all the time. Absolutely. And I have an addiction, like to screens. Absolutely. Um, when I know that it would be better to just go for a walk, but I can't get away from the screens. So yeah, yours is the right way, Katrina. You sound like a very healthy, well-adjusted human. Um, yeah, so Dharmafal says, sounds really healthy, Katrina. Now they're trying to get kids off devices and outdoors. Yeah. So Katrina grew up in pubs and playing with other kids at the pub or the shopping mall. Ah, that sounds like a good childhood. Okay, so Dimmy says, I was diagnosed with autism at 42. My childhood was a bit hard. Yeah, I feel ya. Yeah. Did you find it helpful getting a diagnosis? Okay, so Katrina says back when kids could be at the pub with their parents and have a fire engine or red soft drink. Sounds good. Yeah, good question, Ken. Were your parents running the pubs, Katrina? You may have already answered, and I'm just not down to that yet. Um, so Greg says, I love my age. I had no TV, no internet, just radio with my sisters growing up. Yeah, that sounds way better. Like mine is the defective way. Nobody listening to this should take a lesson from me. It was a bad choice, but it was like just the way my childhood was. But yeah, you're right, Greg. That sounds idyllic. And I bet you didn't realize just how good it was for you at the time. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Tomophile. Um, I'm glad that it comes across okay. Okay, Katrina. So your dad drank at heaps of pubs because he was a concreter and he took you along. That's nice. Best of both worlds. He got to hang out with you and relax after a long day concreting. Okay, so Ken, you don't own a TV or a microwave, so you don't have much tech. Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I don't have a microwave either, um, and I don't have a TV, um, but I watch TV on the monitor that I'm reading your comments off. So I don't really need a TV. This works as a TV, unfortunately. But yes, I watched way too much TV growing up as well. So too much computer time, too much TV. Um, Greg says concreting was a hard job, worked hard, drank hard. Yeah, I can understand that. And like your muscles and everything would have been so sore. Like you needed something to relax them at the end of the day, I imagine. I hope so, Matt, that she eats the spider and then licks you with the spider breath. That is preferable to presenting me with the spider whilst it's still alive. I think because she's a girl cat, she has been known to bring mice that have been mortally wounded but are not yet dead. Um, yeah, she wants me to have a like she wants me to have the satisfaction of finishing it off. Um, so it's not good. It's not good. She'll eventually finish it off if I leave it for long enough, but I don't like it. Don't like it. If you're gonna harm something, you need to finish it. Finish what you start. Um, okay, so Katrina, housing commission I grew up in, and all us kids got together and played. Yeah, that's nice. I think when my brother and sister were growing up, because they're 11 years older than me, because they grew up in the same housing commission house as me, I think there were a lot more housing commission um, households around us, but I think they'd slowly been started to sell off. So there weren't actually any kids within like a radius of me, other than there was a Vietnamese family next door, and I would technically play with their little boy, but we didn't speak the same language. But we'd still hang out. Like we'd sit on the brick wall that was in between the two houses, and his grandma would bring like fresh spring rolls that she'd made out. It was so good. Um, but yeah, I stopped hanging out with that little boy. Like I think we were maybe like 5 at the time. Um, but we never actually went to each other's houses. We would just sit on the shared brick wall and just like hang out. So I guess that was the only friend I had over those years. Maybe I don't know. Um, but yeah, that's good. That's really good. Um, it probably depends on the housing commission you grew up in, maybe. Um, ours were like proper sized um, house blocks, like over 800 square meter blocks with a house on them. So we weren't like close together, if you know what I mean. Like our front doors weren't near each other. But I guess if you lived in duplexes or more of a like planned layout, then yeah, that might be more conducive to playing. But at the end of the day, I didn't go outside. So there could have been kids everywhere, but I didn't go outside. So that's yeah. Um okay, yeah, Demi. It was hard being in the classroom. I was away with the fairies most of the time. Me too. Absolutely. But there were wonderful things going on in my head. Um, and I was very good at looking like I was paying attention. So I was never a bother to any of my teachers. They wouldn't have known necessarily that I was off with the fairies because I knew to look in the right direction. Um, but yeah, I hear. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention either. So Greg says that Katrina was his older sister's name. I thought I was getting trolled by her. Okay, interesting. um, yeah, that is right, Dimmy. So Dimmy tells Ken that Asperger's is just on the spectrum of ASD. Yeah. Yeah, Katrina. Yeah, technology has come a long way. Everyone uses it now and depends on it. Yeah, I kind of prefer the internet before everyone was using it. Like, no offense to everyone else. But when it was a smaller, like, I don't know, I guess it was less commercialized in the early days. It was more like people. Like, I don't know if you guys like are familiar with GeoCities web pages. Like, we would all just make them and there was nothing commercial about them. You just like had an interest, so you'd make a web page about it. It was all like it was very innocent for the most part, and not commercialized. So I kind of miss that about the internet. Yeah. Okay. So Demi says I sang a lot and played guitar. Only way I could connect. Well, that's good that you found a way to connect. Like music can be really good for that. Um, I never had the concentration to properly learn an instrument, but I think it would have made me happier and healthier and more whole had I been able to concentrate. But yeah, again, it comes back to the like, it's not that I didn't have any aptitude for music, it's that you actually have to go home from the lesson and actually do the homework and actually practice. And I expected everything to come easily and not have to concentrate on it. And with school, I could get away with doing absolutely no preparation ever. But yeah, learning an instrument, you actually had to put in time. And because I had quite a chaotic home life as well, there was no one, like, I would come home to an empty house and nobody was really like encouraging me or taking care of me. So I guess there was a lot of neglect going on. So yeah, I think it was hard without like some sort of adults helping me to do homework or encouraging me to practice or telling me like why I should do those things. But yeah, I'm really glad that you found music helpful to you, Demi. That makes a lot of sense. Do you still play guitar? Oh, sang a lot. Okay, yes, beautiful. Um, that makes more sense with the context. I don't know why I thought sand made sense, but anyway, yes, sang and played guitar. Beautiful. Um, who remembers the days without a mobile phone? Yes, I do remember that, Katrina. Um, that's one that I could have done without, I think, is like smartphones. Um, yeah, I think life was a bit I'm very careful and cautious with my mobile phone, and I always have been. And I didn't get a smartphone for many years after smartphones were a thing, because I knew that I've got like an internet addiction. And so I didn't want to have the internet and something that I could take away from my desk. So I've always tried to be a bit more cautious with what I allow on my phone because, yeah, if going for a walk is the only way to get me away from the computer, if I take something with me that I can look at, but then there's the whole, I did find it helpful because I've got social anxiety, which is probably a bad thing now. It did help get me out of the house in that I wouldn't stand awkwardly because I'd have a phone to look at, you know what I mean? But then that's obviously a problem now because people don't talk to each other because they're all looking at their phone. But at first, having a mobile phone was helpful because I didn't feel awkward because I'd have a phone to look at. But I do try and be really careful with mobile phones because I know I have a problem. And so I have to make sure that there is a way to get away from technology. And if I've got it in my pocket, then yeah. Okay. All right. So Ken says, I think intelligent people who have had trauma are off with the fairies as a means to cope. Our school system is an indoctrination, so our brains just tune out. It's survival. Yeah, there could definitely be something there, Ken. Um, so Katrina remembers the days with Oz aerobics at 6 a.m. Let me just say, I'm never up at 6 a.m. unless I haven't been to bed yet. But it's awesome that you're the kind of person that is up at 6 a.m. without um, not yet having gone to bed. Jerry Springer on at 1 p.m. I remember Jerry Springer, yeah. And then Ready, Steady, Cook at 2 p.m. Yeah. Life used to be so much simpler when everybody was just watching the same 5 TV stations. And yeah, I think we had a lot more like shared experiences in the culture when, yeah, like maybe you watch this TV show and they watch that TV show, but like at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, there were only so many options. So when you go to work the next day and you talk to someone, they may have seen the thing that you saw, but now like there's just endless things that you could have been watching at 8 p.m. last night. Okay. So Greg says, I'm 51 years old, grew up in the desert, so it was my sister's pet sheep and 3 cats to find something to do. Okay, interesting. Good point, Ken. So Ken says to Dimmy, singing is a great way to heal trauma trapped in the body. I find humming helpful. Yeah, too. So even if you can't sing, if you can hum, I find humming helpful for like, I think it activates the, what's the nerve that I'm thinking of? No, it's gone. I can't remember. But there's a nerve that if you can activate it, you can activate it by like pushing here, I think. Anyway, which nerve is it? I know this. Okay, it's gone. Vagus nerve. Yeah, I think humming like activates the vagus nerve. So I imagine singing does a similar thing. Okay, so Ken, you were stung by a jellyfish in Townsville. Well, I assume it wasn't a deadly jellyfish, so that's good, but that does sound painful. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, so Dharmaphile says there was no internet when I was a kid, but if there was, I would 100% have used it as an escape. Yeah, basically, yeah, that's where I was at. Yeah, thank you. I guess, yeah, it's a good thing you didn't have the internet at the time. Although I do think that it saved me in a lot of ways. So I am grateful for the time that I grew up in. Because I don't know that I would have been connecting with other people anyway. So at least I had online friends. All right. So Mr. Goo says, don't be hard on yourself, Enid. We all just adapt to our circumstances and environment. Yeah, I guess it's the best we can do, isn't it? I'm not one of 9 children. Both of my parents are one of 9 children. So my dad is the youngest of 9. And my mum is towards the end of the birth. She's like the youngest daughter, but she's got a few brothers younger than her. So yeah, my parents are each one of 9 children. For the 80s, they were like older parents. So growing up, my parents were older than other people's parents. It's perfectly normal age now for people to have children. But in the 80s, my mum was 30 and my dad was 35. Yeah. So they kind of had me later in life, but also their older siblings. So my cousin, I didn't really like have cousins, even though I didn't have a lot to do with cousins, even though there were a lot of them, because a lot of them were adults when I was born. I think that's why I brought it up. I can't remember. Yes, I was definitely escaping. Yes, that's why I was on the internet. Definitely. And also it comes back to I wasn't like connecting with other kids at school and wasn't liking being at school. So yeah, it was a good outlet at the time. Okay, so Dimmy says, I was scared to be diagnosed, but I wanted to know. I always felt a bit different. After I got diagnosed, I was me. I met me. I don't know if that makes sense. It actually makes complete and utter sense. Because I think we know that we're not the same and there's something that Yeah. So to have that validated, I can imagine. So I think some people don't want a diagnosis, which is completely valid, and other people feel like it might be helpful to them. So yeah, hope you don't mind me asking. I just thought, yeah, because some people might feel like it's going to be helpful, but then maybe it isn't. Um, I'm sure there's a lot that came up for you when you were diagnosed. Um, but yeah, I'm glad that it helped you. That's really good. Um, yes, I remember Mother and Son. Um, for some reason, I found it quite disturbing as a kid. Um, but I did watch it. I did like it, but yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It was a black comedy, so that's the disturbing bit. um, yeah, kind of in the same era. I always loved Yes Minister, and now watching episodes of Yes Minister, I'm like, how could I have understood that humor? Because I used to laugh and laugh. I'm like, that seems way too complex for a child to have understood that humor. But I don't know. I really, really liked Yes Minister when I was growing up. Uh, Apparently, jellyfish stings are the worst stings you can get. I have no experience in that, just what I read. Yeah, I don't know. Um, we had to, because we were on a rainforest block um, in North Queensland. We were warned by the guy that cleared our house site that we were living on um, that there would be gimpy gimpy somewhere on the block, like that we will definitely run into it. We didn't because we didn't actually go like bush bashing very much. There was a whole lot of our property that we never actually saw, um, but we were told, yeah, and that the guys in the area that cleared blocks, like they had remedies they thought worked for gimpy gimpy. I don't know if they did, but yeah, gimpy gimpy sting. That's apparently extremely intense. I don't know if it's worse than a jellyfish sting though. And it probably depends on the jellyfish. I think some are more. So I've been stung by a blue bottle in southeast Queensland, and it stings, but it's not. It's not too bad. Um, Whereas I guess, oh yeah, so the neighbor that I mentioned had the coffee van. As a like 8-year-old, he got stung by, I think it was a box jelly. Yeah, it was a box jellyfish. He survived, but he had like this awful scar all up his leg from that box jellyfish. So apparently that was like the greatest pain he'd ever experienced in his life, was the box jellyfish sting. So, and he had an awful scar from it. But I guess he was lucky that it only, like, yeah, got the bottom of his leg. Um, hey, Max. Thank you for coming. Um, I think we're all doing okay. We seem to all be having a good night. How are you doing? Oh, Greg, I'm sorry. Um, Look, I know nothing about withdrawing from tobacco. Have you got like nicotine patches or something to help with the cravings? Um, I don't know anything about that either, but um, you're doing so well though. 3 weeks is a big achievement. Um, yeah. Okay, you said the cravings will go away in 5 minutes. Okay, good, good. Then I believe in you. You can make it for the next 5 minutes. Um, Wild Blackberry says the plus side of a childhood spent indoors on the computer and reading books is good skin. Yes. I look, that could be the secret to me having okay skin is I do not go in the sun. um, yeah. So yeah, no, definitely. Um, I used to get teased for being too pale. In the 90s and the early 2000s, I would get teased for being too pale. Um, and I remember I went to Wet and Wild as like a 12-year-old for my cousin's birthday. And I was just standing in the line for like, I don't know what I was standing in line for, but there were two girls around my age before me, and they made this like snark comment to each other about she needs some sun. And because I'm 12 and I'm already like very self conscious about my body, I blushed and I felt so embarrassed. But in retrospect, I haven't been in the sun and my skin's okay. So maybe I didn't need some sun. I mean, that was one day that I was outside. But yes, I was very pale. I still am pretty pale. Um, it was very hard not get a little bit of a tan where I previously lived because I lived outside. I did my best, always had a hat on, long sleeve shirt, and I would put sunscreen on. But if you're just getting up in the morning and you just want to go wash your face, like, yeah, it's hard to put the sunscreen on before you've washed your face. So I did get too much sun, and I have noticed some sun damage in recent years, but I don't have that cumulative sun damage because I didn't go outside as a kid. So yes, I agree, wild blackberry. Okay, yes, wild blackberry. Also spent a lot of time on ICQ chat, and I agree it was a more innocent experience back then. Yes, it was. It was. I do miss that side of the internet. Oh, okay, Katrina, well done. So Katrina gave up smoking for her son. And every day I smell my partner smoke, I even roll smokes, but I haven't picked it back up. Yeah, that takes a lot of self-control. But I guess it helps that you've got a reason, like that you want to be healthy and you want to set a good example for your son, I'm guessing. And so, yeah, you want to live a long time for him. So that's really good that you've managed to quit and stay off it, especially having a partner who's smoking. That must be really hard smelling it. Yeah, Ken, I think you might be right. So Ken says, I think funky childhoods might lead to funky adulthood. At least that's been my experience. Okay, Demi. So Demi had an operatic voice, but couldn't concentrate with her trainer. It was torture. Everyone in my family thought my voice was my gift, but I couldn't concentrate and gave up. Look, maybe it wasn't the right path for you. But I could understand why you might have some regret there. But look, if it wasn't right for you, it doesn't matter if everybody else thinks it's right for you. But I can completely understand not being able to concentrate. Yeah, I'm definitely there even now. So, yeah, I'm sorry if that was your dream and you weren't able to make it happen. But on the other hand, if it was your family's dream and not your dream, just because you have a gift, it doesn't mean you have to pursue that. But I hope that you've found meaning elsewhere in your life since then. Maybe. I don't know. Aw, okay. Katrina says, I'm like a grandma at 31 because I don't have fun anymore. But do you have fun with your son? Is like, yeah, can you have fun in different ways that can be conducive to your current lifestyle? But yeah, look, I think it's completely normal to miss our old life, no matter what stage of life we're in now. And we always have like rose colored glasses for what we were doing before, even if we weren't actually happy while we were doing it. Sorry, I have a drippy nose. I mowed the lawn today and I think I've just got some seasonal allergies going on. Hey, Steve, are you late or are you right on time? Hello and welcome. Good to see you. Okay, thank you, Dharmaphile. So Dharmaphile says Peter Levine, a trauma expert, recommends humming for vagus nerve. Yeah, I didn't know where it had come from, but I remember I'd heard something about it activating the vagus nerve. I'm so behind on chat, aren't I? Okay. Um, okay, Greg. So it's Greg's first time. I'm home and on the internet, talking to others, not smoking and drinking beer. Yep, I will say something insane. Okay, okay. Look, so far you're just very entertaining, Greg. Um, okay, yeah. I can understand why singing in a choir would be really good as well. There's just something about a group of people singing um, that does something to the human psyche, I think, even all other things aside. Yeah. Um, was able to sing when I was a kid, but I think I spent so many years not talking. When I tried to sing like a few years ago, like it just hurts to sing. And it doesn't sound the way it used to. So even when I was like early 20s, I had quite a nice singing voice, but I, yeah, yeah, it hurts when I try and sing now. So, oh well, I guess use it or lose it. But also, like, I didn't talk for a large portion of my adult life. Like, I was talked at a lot, but I didn't talk much. So, um, yeah, I think my voice has just not been used very much in the last 20 years. Um, Katrina, I hear ya. Yeah, okay. I mean, your son is getting a bit older now. Like, do you have like some female friends that you could go out with for a good night and have your partner watch your son? Um, Even if you just had something like that to look forward to, like once every 3 months, like even if you can't do it every month, is there something that you could do to, because as a mum, you do need some time to yourself. Like, and you might feel selfish at first, but you need it. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup, I guess is what I'm saying. You need, yeah. All right. So, Ken, you sing a lot. I had to have a lot of healing. I had bad PTSD. Yeah. I I can understand that, and I am right there with you. Okay, so Demi was taught classical guitar to please her family, but I'm more of a singer, and I do play now. Okay. Well, I hope that it brings you joy. Okay, Katrina. So the craziest thing you've done is go on a holiday with a stranger off a dating site I just met. I went for a 2-week holiday. Did it go okay? Obviously, there was potential for bad things to happen, but hopefully it all went okay. Yeah. How was it? You're very brave. You're braver than me. Like I said, I struggle to leave the house because I'm scared of people. So, um, on the other hand, sometimes I'll just be impulsive. So maybe it's me I don't trust leaving the house, that I'll do something impulsive. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Um, yeah. Okay, Dharmaphile. Yeah. Complex PTSD. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. And I'm glad that you've recovered quite a lot. And you wish you could sing. Yes. I mean, yeah, unless it hurts like it does for me, anybody can sing. Just it might not sound the way that you would like it to sound. But yeah, I think that's why like humming is helpful for me because singing hurts. So yeah, maybe try humming. Um, although you probably already have. But don't mind me. Okay, so Katrina, you met a bloke once. The next day, he was picking me up in his van, and we went away for 2 weeks up north. Okay, look, that sounds really dangerous, Katrina. I am glad that you survived it. It sounds really scary. Was it really scary, or was it okay? Um, you met a few people off the internet, and you've done some crazy things. Life was crazy before I settled down. Yeah, yeah. It's good to have a history because it helps you to know what you do and don't want now and going forward. Um, and it sounds like you've got some great stories, but I hope it went okay. But it does sound quite scary and dangerous. All right. Um, okay, the trip was good. I ended up living with him for 3 years. Okay. All right, so he was okay then, I hope. I shouldn't assume that just because you lived with him for 3 years, because he might have been awful and you lived with him for 3 years. But I'm glad the trip was good. You weren't his wife or girlfriend, just a woman who listened to his crap for 3 years, hoping he wanted me one day. Then when he went to Thailand, that was the day I didn't ever go back to his place. Okay. Well, I guess it's good that you didn't become any more committed and you were able to walk away. So even if he was not a good person leading you on, maybe it was for the best because you were able to move on with your life after that period. But yeah, I'm sorry if that was like that does not sound good. Listening to someone with the hope that it's going to be more and it not eventuating. Yeah. Ah, yes. Dimmy, that makes sense that your music is your meditation. That's really good. All right. So Greg misses playing in a heavy metal band, road bikes. Now my life is my wife and kids and sharing sheep. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, look, maybe you can go back to playing in a heavy metal band after the kids are all grown and you don't need to shear sheep. I don't know if you want to, or maybe it's just a really fond memory for you and part of your story. Yeah, I hear you, Katrina. So, like, you were putting in the labor and not getting anything back. Not that wives usually get what they deserve back either, but I shouldn't say most. Some relationships are balanced, but a lot of wives are doing all those things and not getting recognition for their unpaid labor. But yeah, I'm sorry you were doing that unpaid labor and weren't even given any kind of status in his life. It sounds like you maybe dodged a bullet though. He should have been paying you as like his personal assistant because it sounds like you did a lot. Okay, he had plenty of other women. I was just the only girl who lived with him and did his grocery shopping and organized his work schedule. Yeah, it does sound like a job, Katrina. I agree with Dharmaphile. Yeah, if he'd been paying you, then like that's fine. Hi, Ash. Nice to have you. Yeah, absolutely. You'll be able to watch it back. Um, Sometimes it takes a little while after the live stream for it to, like, buffer, but, yeah, it'll definitely be here. I don't know how interesting we've been. We've had a good time, though. Yeah, but thank you for joining. Okay, so Katrina, he would tell other women I was his sister. I was the lady who was doing his laundry and work schedule and everything else. Okay. Katrina, I'm glad that you removed yourself from that situation as you did. I don't think it would have gotten any better had he wanted to start a relationship with you. Yeah. If he was taking advantage of you without that, then yeah. Okay. All right. Good, Dimmy. You didn't want to sing operatic. I knew my voice could do it, but I didn't want it for me. Yeah, then I'm glad that you did what was right for you. You're a carer, you love your work, and it makes you happy. Yeah, that's what we all need in life. Like, yeah, I'm happy for you. Yeah, just because you've got a natural talent for something, it doesn't mean that it's the right thing for you. Because you obviously have other talents that maybe they didn't identify in you as a child that make you a great carer, and make you love your work. So I'm glad that you found the right fit. Yeah, that makes sense, Katrina. Yeah. Well, you were looking after this man. I mean, it makes sense. Okay. All right. So you started your new life. Um, Interesting. So he's come back and you've started this whole new life and you've had a baby and yeah, well, he didn't appreciate you and that's what happens. Thank you, Dharmaphile. I'm glad too. Mm. Wise words, Dimmy. Dimmy says, Katrina, some years are more exciting than others, but every year is an experience. You have done a lot for such a young person. There will be more exciting times to be had. There will be. Yeah. Time is always marching forward, whether we want it to or not. So things will be totally different in 5 years from now and 10 years from now. And that's just part of living. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that you feel good having moved on from that, not a relationship, but also not paid for your labor thing that you had going on. Yeah, that's the thing. We can't, when there's a fork in the road, we can't try both options. We make our decision, and yeah, I get you. Like that, you don't know what would have happened had you stayed and waited. Um, I guess you just got to trust your instincts at the time. If something told you not to stay there and wait for him, then our brains are very smart. They do background processing that we're not cogni- cognizant of. And yeah, um, yeah, I think you probably made the right decision from what you've said. Yeah, I agree, Ken. Greg, tell us more about this band that you played in. All right, Mr. Goo, thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of your night. Hope you sleep well. What time is it? It's 20 to 11. So Normal people might even be getting ready for bed at this point. Um, so, yeah, thank you for coming. Okay, so you still talk to him, Katrina. We still talk every 6 months. He asks how my family is, says he misses me, and yeah, we leave it at that. Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't know what he had. Um, yeah, okay, but that's good that you guys are still friendly. Because if you weren't, like, you might idealize him more. But the fact that you actually still speak might keep it a bit more grounded. I don't know. If you're anything like me and you have the ability to idealize people that probably don't deserve it. Yes, Mr. Goo, I will see you in a fortnight. That would be awesome. I will definitely be here in a fortnight. I will have to try and check where the fortnights land. And I don't know what day is Christmas on this year. I don't know. Yeah, so if I have to jig things around because it's not going to be convenient because people have things on, I can switch the weeks. But I don't know. I haven't looked at a calendar. All right. So Greg, you played guitar in the band. Why has my chat just jumped again? Okay. Yeah. Cool. I'm back to the bit where Greg said that he played guitar in the band. That is awesome. And he tells you how many more holidays he's been on and how many times he's been to Thailand. Yeah. Thing is, do you have more meaning in your life than random trips to Thailand? Like you have your son, you're building something, I don't know. It sounds like your life might have more meaning than someone that takes lots of trips to Thailand. I'm making a lot of assumptions there, just on the information you've given me about this person. Yeah, I'm glad that you wish him well. Because honestly, like not wishing people well, it only hurts you ultimately. Yeah. Hello, Rachel. Yeah, Katrina, it sounds like you got out of a dodgy situation. Good call. Yeah, I agree. He just cares about himself, and still, when he calls, it's about another holiday. Yeah. You might just be giving him narcissistic supply, Katrina. But you got to do what's right for you. At some point, maybe you'll be ready to not talk to him anymore. Or maybe you're getting something out of these conversations. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. That's hard, Katrina. Oh, my chat just jumped again. Somebody said she's on. Yes, Mark. Yes, I am on live. Hello. And Greg's reading with one eye. Okay, cool. It's an interesting choice. Oh, Greg, that sounds like the dream. 23 years with your wife, and you guys have never argued. No, you've only argued twice in your marriage. That's beautiful, Greg. I'm very happy for you. It's like when I watch people with perfect relationships online, like really sweet, beautiful things. I'm so happy for them, but it also brings me to tears because when you know someone will never feel that way about you, it can bring up some sadness. But I'm very happy. I'm always happy for the person, but Yeah, I can't say that there's not, like, a little bit of, like yeah, but I'm very happy for you and your wife. That's the main emotion, but yeah, little tweak of sadness, but I'm very happy for you, Greg. Hello, Sandra. So nice to see you. Okay, my chat has jumped again. Okay. Yes, Dharma file. That's very wise words for Katrina. I also hope, Katrina, that you love yourself more than him or the idea of him. And that's the thing. We have to kind of, yeah, try and figure out, are we actually in love with them or just the idea of them? We can also be in love with those moments in between the bad bits, like bad stuff happens and then there's a bit of a lull and then the bad stuff starts again, but we're in love with that bit in the middle. I don't know if that's the case for you with this. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, well spotted, Dharma file. Is it a love of him or an idea of him? Okay, Ken, so you can relate to the impulsive behavior. Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Katrina says, I am learning to love myself more, especially since I now have a family of my own and putting myself first. Yeah. I think having a little person that is dependent on us can definitely help us to have to focus more on ourselves than maybe we did before. Because, yeah, ultimately, you have to be happy and well to keep your little boy happy and well. So, yeah, I'm glad that you're learning to love yourself. Yeah. I know you've got stuff happening with your in-laws that is probably like really weighing on you, especially with Christmas coming up. So yeah, I imagine you've got a lot going on right now. But yeah, try and look after yourself. Try and if you can, Katrina, get those nights out on your own if you can, even if it's like twice a year. If you can. I know that like there's lots of reasons why that might not be possible, but if it's at all possible. Yes, Rachel, I was thinking the same thing. It sounds like he may be hoovering you. Look it up and see if it maybe is a fit. And he might be keeping you around just in case things don't work out with your current partner so that he can hoover you up even more. Just be like, just protect yourself, is what I'm saying. Because it sounds like you put a lot into this guy and he took you for granted and your instincts knew to move on. So maybe trust those instincts. Because it's hard, especially if you're not seeing him in person. Because like a lot of it is like our primordial lizard brain that will pick up on cues and things. And because you're talking to him on the phone, there could be things that you knew, like your body knew when you were in his presence that you may have forgotten. So I don't know if that's the case, but okay, thank you, Mark. So Christmas falls on a Thursday this year. Okay, so since my live streams are on Fridays, I'll have to see how it like matches up with Christmas. Sorry, it takes me time to process things. Sandra, if you are still here, how are you doing? I'm sorry. I was surprised to see you, but I'm sorry if I've been rude by not asking you how you are. I would very much like to know how you're doing. I hope you are well. Sorry, my brain it reads things and I say things, but it might take time for me to process what it is that I said and read. Okay. Yeah, hoovering. So people with narcissistic traits, like there's certain patterns which it's kind of scary. Well, not scary. It's kind of interesting that a lot of these people with these traits do exactly the same things. It's very interesting because, like, I guess we all like to think that we're very unique and different, but most narcissists seem to follow the same patterns, and hoovering is often it. So there's things like devaluing, yeah, yeah. So yeah, just Just have a look. Have a look. Um, yes, Rachel, with your amazing advice. We always love Rachel's advice. That is a good point. Is he an adult? Okay, sorry, my chat has jumped again. All right, Mark, I'm not sure what you're saying. And whilst my moderator is not here, I am here. So just letting you know. Well said. If you love somebody, you let them go. Some people are only supposed to be in my life for a reason, for a season. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It may be feeding narcissistic supply. Yeah. And the problem is that empathetic people like you, Katrina, they gravitate towards you because you're a good person and they can see that and you're willing to give and give and give. But just keep in mind that it is a limited resource and you should give to people that deserve it because it is an honor for them to receive your empathy and your care. And it is a limited resource, so give it to people that are worthy of it, not the person that tries to tap into it the most, like they're entitled to it, like it is their resource. It is your resource, and it is up to you to give it to whomever you deem worthy of your empathy, your attention, your love, your efforts, because they should be appreciated. And you are very valuable, even if people try and tell you otherwise. Yeah, okay, you did his laundry, you cleaned his toilet. Okay, look, it sounds like you were doing all the things and they were unappreciated. If he was paying you as his personal assistant, that's totally fine. Although you would be under an employment contract then. So, and you would get time off. Did you ever get any time off, or were you just his live-in maid for nothing? Yeah, I agree, Rachel. Katrina, learning to love yourself is the greatest treasure you can give your child. Absolutely. All right, cool. Yeah, so I'll have to see where it falls. Like maybe you can see where it's fallen. So yeah, maybe I'll do like 2 Fridays in a row to try and I don't know. I'll have to look at a calendar. Unless you guys can figure it out. But I don't have a calendar in front of me. Yeah. Katrina, I'm sorry. I agree, Ken. It sounds like he's a pig. And you can do so much better, Katrina. Yeah. I think your instincts did not lead you astray, Katrina. I agree with Wild Blackberry. It does sound like you dodged a bullet. Good on you for starting a family with someone new. Like, absolutely. Yeah. But I can understand why you're still not sure if you made the right decision. But it sounds like to us you made the right decision. Yeah. And you're away from the drama. Like, honestly, if you can have minimal drama in life, because things will come up, like there'll be illness, there'll be problems. But if your partner's not bringing you drama that's unnecessary, then that is a win. Yeah, very wise words, Tarmophile. Love doesn't have to be earned. Yeah. So if anyone makes you feel like it does, you are not the problem. Yeah, exactly. Rachel says you don't need to prove your worth through service. You are enough. You are complete and lovable. Okay. So yeah, Rachel said, I went through a lot on my journey of self-growth. and it's ongoing, that included learning I was a people pleaser. Yeah, I hear ya. I hear ya. Um, yeah. Yeah, very true, Ken. And we do, if we see toxic relationships as a child, that's like our imprint. That's what we think relationships look like. Um, so it's hard to undo that programming when we then have our own relationships. So, yeah. Hello, Sandra. You're great. Awesome. Lovely to see your beautiful face. Just finished week 3 of my new job. Ah, okay. That's awesome, Sandra. I'm glad that the job is going well, I hope. Um, um, Katrina, that relationship is not the best, my love. You knew you deserved better, and that's why you left him. You did well to put yourself first. Yeah, I agree. Katrina, trust your instincts in the moment. You did the right thing. How is my job hunt going? It's still going, Sandra. I haven't um I've had a lot of like life things going on in the last few weeks. I'm still like, I had a look today and I have applied for 65 jobs. Um, However, I've printed off resumes to drop them into businesses, but I have not gotten around to actually doing it. I had some court related things happening that did not go a, a way that would be less stressful. So I've had to revisit some things, reread some things I would rather not read. So it's just been a stressful couple of weeks. I've still been applying for jobs. I got to the stage of a transcription test for a job that would have been perfect. I flunked out on the test. I had the accuracy, but not the speed. So I didn't hear from them again. I've had a phone call. I've had several jobs where I've gotten to the stage of like providing extra information, but I've not actually had a physical interview yet. Um, but I am still applying. But I feel like I haven't wanted to talk about it because I know everybody's rooting for me and I have not done the hard work that I should have done in the past few weeks. I've not been doing everything I could do. So, yeah, uh, I'm a bit embarrassed, but I've still been applying, but I have not handed in resumes in person, which I think might be the key at this point because there's so many applicants. I think if they can see me, see that I don't have two heads, it might be helpful. But yeah, I'm doing it's called data annotation, where you're training AI and it's $20 an hour. So I'm doing that from home. Um, well, I'm hopefully doing that from home. I've gotten through to like the second stage of you do like a test to see that you're suitable. So I'm waiting for the results back on that. It can take up to 10 days, and I think I did it 3 days ago. So hopefully within the week, I will know if I've got that. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Also, my YouTube got properly monetized, so I've turned ads on. So yeah, that will be a little bit of an income stream as well. So I've got a few things, but yeah, I'm a bit embarrassed because I've not been putting in as much work on the job hunt as I should have. But there's been a lot of other life things going on. But thank you for asking. I'm sorry anybody else who has asked that I've ignored. I did talk about it earlier in the stream, and I just wanted to talk about other things for a little while, and now we've come back to it at the end ish. So yeah, I've talked about it twice now. So hopefully that answers anyone that was asking. I'm embarrassed because I know that you're all rooting for me and you want a good story arc, right? Like that's what we all want. We want a good story arc. This person is working hard and then they get to success. That's what I want to. I'm just not there yet. Um, but yeah, I'm getting there. I'm still applying, but yeah. All right, so where are we up to? Because I've been yammering on. Um, but thank you for asking, Sandra. I hope the new job for you is going really well. Um, okay, my chat has jumped again. Where? Okay, cool. Yeah, I get that feeling too, Rachel, that Katrina's not yet free emotionally from this guy. Um, yeah, it'll take time. And it's okay to feel however you feel about it, Katrina. Like, it's totally fine. We can feel however we feel, but still make a logical decision ultimately, which it sounds like you already did. um, yeah, and I agree. Stepping back and analyzing why we do things we do is helpful. Yeah. So hopefully we have provided you with a space to think it through too, Katrina. I hope. I hope that we've been a little bit helpful, maybe. Um, the thing is, Katrina, with telling him how he made you feel, if and we don't know him, we just know what you've told him, and we're getting a little bit of a narc vibe. The thing with people with narcissistic traits is they will never give you the satisfaction that you're after. You have to do that work internally. They have no or very low empathy, so they don't understand or care how they've made you feel. They might say things to make you think that they have empathy for you, but in all likelihood they don't. Um, so you're not going to get that satisfaction from him, would be what I would suggest. Um, if anything, he might twist it. So if he does have narcissistic traits, you're probably not going to get that satisfaction from him. And I know that hurts. Trust me, I'm there with you. But you have to come to an understanding that you're not going to get the satisfaction from them. So you have to move on yourself. Because you know what you know and you experience what you experienced. You don't need him to acknowledge or validate that, if that makes sense. Um, okay, not much bothers you, hey, Greg? I did not know that sheep kick you in the balls as a sheep shearer. I had no idea. Very interesting. But I am very happy that you were able to provide a stable and loving home for your wife who had a not great childhood. Um, yeah, that's great. It sounds like you're very lucky to have each other. Yeah, that's good advice from Rachel. Yeah, Richard Grannon is good. There's a few good ones. Yeah, I found Dr. Ramani very like a good place to start. Even when I was still in the situation I was in, I found her Don't Go Deep really helpful. Don't defend, don't engage, don't explain, and don't personalize, because the way they behave, like, don't personalize what they're saying. It's got nothing to do with you. It's coming from them and their own. Yeah. So I found that helpful. Though you don't have to interact with this person a lot, obviously. So maybe you don't need the deep method, but I found that one helpful from Dr. Ramani. Um, yep. Perfect, Rachel. Rachel says, Katrina, you don't have to be understood by him to be valued by you. Absolutely. I hear you, Katrina, that you hope that he one day realizes what he actually had next to him. The thing is, he probably won't. Um, and that is the most hurtful thing, I think. That often we're interchangeable with someone else that provides them with the same narcissistic supply. Um, but I hear you. I think that's understandable that you feel that way. But yeah, like Rachel said, you don't have to be understood by him to be valued by you. But I know that that's hard, especially when you put so much in. Yeah, I agree, Ken. So, Katrina, think about it. Like, if he's saying that he misses you, even though he knows that you're in a new relationship and you have a child with this new partner, what kind of person would then tell you that they miss you? Like, that's only going to cause you harm and pain, isn't it? Like, or make things difficult for you. Like, that is a very selfish act for him to say that he misses you. I agree. It's manipulative. Yeah, that's great, Katrina. Yeah. Yeah, you're not doing anything wrong by taking his calls. And yeah, as long as you're upfront with your partner. Absolutely. Um okay, cool. So your partner clearly doesn't think this is the greatest person ever either. um oh, Ken, are you leaving? Um yeah, that makes sense, Katrina, that you still miss this person. And you're like, yeah, as long as you're getting something out of it and you're processing it, like, yeah, I don't think any of us can say like you shouldn't be taking the phone call, especially because you're honest with your partner about it. Like, yeah, you're not doing anything wrong. Just yeah. Hi, Bianca. I am not on uni holidays yet. My university does trimesters, so I'm not on holidays yet, and my final exams are soon, but not yet. They're in December. So yeah, no final exams yet. I'm nervous in general. I do have like assessments. I've got an assessment due on Monday. Have I started it? No. Um, yeah, but no final exams yet. My university does trimesters. So I'm in trimester 3. Um, okay, sorry, Ken. I hope I haven't missed saying goodbye to you because I'm so behind on the chat. But thank you for coming, Ken. Yes, it's been over 3 hours, so I can understand why you might need to leave. But thank you very much for coming and for all your wonderful advice and thoughts. And yeah, I will see you on the next live and in the comments. Um, oh, that's good, Greg. That this is your wife's place of happiness. Awesome. Thank you, Dharmaphile. Nothing to be embarrassed about at all. Um, this is the reality of life. I'm here because I find you relatable. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I'll look if I can make you feel better about yourself by being just a little bit useless, then that's awesome too. But I know that's not what you meant. That's just where my brain goes. Um, yeah, that's true, Rachel. The best stories take time and drama before they get to the happy ending. Be patient with the journey. Okay, that is very good to think about. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. Look, we're here for the long story, aren't we, guys? Like, it's going to have some ups and downs. Um, okay, Greg's getting wrecked. Homebrew is too good. Still need a smoke. I better go to bed. Love you all lots. We love you too, Greg. Thank you for coming and stick with it. You're doing great. 3 weeks without smoking is amazing. You've got this. Sleep well. Thank you for coming. Okay, so Sandra says that's not how life works, unfortunately. We all have ups and downs. So long as we are not experiencing them alone, we can get through anything. The human psyche is an amazing thing. Thank you, Sandra. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm glad that you needed to hear it, Katrina. Yeah. 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 What Rachel said, Katrina. Yeah. A lot of us have our own experiences and can really relate. So, we're a bit older than you, so we've come through the other side, and yeah, you can too. Um, it sounds like you were so much smarter than I was. So well done. I'm proud of you for moving on when you did. Um, yeah. Yes, Wild Blackberry. Um, it is not a carefree waltz in the park. No, you're doing your best. Yes, I am literally doing my best, but none of you guys, but people on the internet, they seem to project unrealistic expectations on another human being, and they don't seem to be able to separate like what they would actually do in a situation. Like it's easy to give advice when you've not been in a situation, and we're all guilty of it. Like we all judge. We can't help it. Like it's how the human brain works. We see something, we hear something, we make a judgment. Um some of us just keep our judgments to ourselves or like think it through more before just like vomiting it in a comment section. But yeah, a lot of people have very high standards for me, and I don't know why, like what I suggested to them to make them think that I could live up to such a high standard. Because I am just a real person trying to um, live and make things work. And yeah, there are hard patches. Um, yeah. Okay, so jinxed anomaly. Talking about narcissistic people. It's also bad in a lesbian relationship. My ex made me feel crazy, isolated me, would childishly hit me to the point of bruises and scream in my face. Yeah, yeah, I hear what you're saying because I think a lot, unfortunately, for males who are not like this, um, statistically, there are more males with these unhealthy behaviors than females. But there are an awful lot of females with these unhealthy behaviors too. And I think people with female partners might be overlooked or feel like they're not represented because all of the literature and all of a lot of the videos that we see and a lot of the information out there, it's very like males with these traits. But there are so many females with these traits. Like so many people grew up with narcissistic mothers, for example. So we know that yeah, it's not gender specific, and yeah, men are often abused, and people in same sex relationships are abused too. So it's not just this dichotomy of heterosexual male is abusing the female. Like it goes both ways. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Um, yeah, and I think because there's a percentage of people who have been abused by men, whether as children or in a romantic relationship, may turn to same sex relationships. So I think there might also be this idea that lesbian relationships are all idyllic and respectful. But clearly, your experience is very different to that. So, yeah, I'm really sorry that that's happened to you. And it's never okay, no matter who's hurting who. Um, and yeah, if someone's making you feel crazy, then you're probably being gaslit. And not all gaslighters are narcissists, but all narcissists gaslight. And yeah, like this label of narcissist too. Like people can just have narcissistic traits or just be a bad person without any kind of diagnosable disorder. Sorry. So if I'm talking too much about narcissism, like I mean narcissistic traits too. Um, Yeah, and I think often female partners will think that they can get away with physical violence because there's this concept that women can't hurt other people the way a man can hurt someone. And yes, um, obviously, most women can't do as much damage as your average male. But being hit by someone who you love is always going to be hurtful, whether like it leaves a bruise or not. Like just the very fact that they've been physically violent towards you is psychologically damaging, even if you've not been physically damaged. Like you have, yeah, it's never okay. Violence is never okay. Even if you're a woman, like that's not okay. And screaming in your face, geez, I'm so sorry. Um, okay. Yeah. I okay. Look, we should have a counter for how many times I say I agree with Rachel. Thank you for listening to us, Katrina. I feel the same way. Sometimes people get rude or don't want to hear it. And you are being gracious. And like, not everything we say is going to be helpful. Like, we're people too. Like, not all advice is great advice. Absolutely. So yeah, hopefully, like obviously, you needed to talk about it, and I'm glad that you've found a space. Um, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Rachel. Took you 6 years of huge personal growth to understand and overcome narcissistic abuse. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Dharmaphile. Um, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the words of encouragement. All right. So, Jinx Anomaly, you're in the second year of recovery from narcissistic abuse. You can be free of it. I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. I agree, Rachel. There we go. I said it again. So she said, Jinx, congratulations on your escape, and no, it goes in waves, but you get through it. Yeah. Yep. I'm so happy to hear that, Katrina. So Katrina says, I'm lucky to have my current partner because he really has shown me what I deserve. He appreciates everything I do for him around the house. I'm so relieved for you that you have found that. Yeah, of course. And you're doing a great job raising his baby. Like, yeah, you're amazing. He should appreciate you. Yeah, exactly. So Rachel says, I've done a bit of advocacy work around this, and I agree. It isn't gender specific. And sometimes it's difficult for men being abused to be heard or to even like want to say anything because they're embarrassed. But like we're all human, and manipulative people are manipulative people. Like they're good at what they do. So being male isn't going to protect you from manipulation necessarily. Um, all right. So Demi says my 30s were crazy. And Jinx Anomaly says, thank you guys. It does get better, people. Good, good. Thank you for the encouragement for everyone, Jinx Anomaly. Okay. So your 30s were crazy, and Demi says, I had relationships with people that just messed me up. Yeah. I'm sorry that happened, but it sounds like you've come out the other side a lot stronger for it. Yeah, I get that, Katrina, that they were not physically violent towards you. but they may have been saying things to you that weren't okay, um, that were abusive in ways that you might not yet appreciate, or maybe they weren't. We weren't there. Um, so yeah, who knows? But even if none of those things were present, it doesn't mean that this person wasn't treating you badly. Like, you don't have to tick off check boxes for someone to have been abusive. You know what I mean? Like, I think we can get into we might be too tied to a like what word am I looking for? That this like it has to fit into this. It has to be like this. Um, like I definitely have had that struggle coming to a realization about abuse because um, I know that like in the 90s and the 2000s there was representation of people in abusive relationships, but it always looked a certain way. So if the abuse didn't look the way it did in that TV show or the several TV shows that I'd seen, then I might not realize that my experience also is that kind of abuse, just because it doesn't look exactly like that. So you don't have to tick off specific things that happened. Um, and sometimes manipulative people are very good at you not being able to nail it down and say what it was. Um, yeah, I've gone on a tangent. Yeah, I agree, Dharmaphile. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Violence comes in many forms. Emotional abuse and neglect have a physical effect. They do. Just like physical abuse, they don't have to actually hit you. They could throw things at you or knock over things um, without like you might not have a mark on you, but you were physically abused. You know what I mean? Like they might throw the table and it could have hit you, but it didn't because you jumped out of the way. But that's still physically abusive. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, that is a very good point, Rachel. Sometimes they don't start violent, but it changes. Um, that's something good for people to be aware of. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Hannah Clark in Queensland in 2020. She was murdered by her former partner and the father of her children. Um, Quite horrifically, the children were killed and Hannah was killed. So the reason Queensland brought in coercive control laws was partially like it's been nicknamed Hannah's Law because of what happened to Hannah Clark. So he wasn't physically violent towards her, but he was coercively controlling and he was doing all these other abusive things. And she had reported him to police, um, but there was a pattern of behavior. But what he was doing wasn't specifically a crime, so the police couldn't hold him. Um, so that's why they brought in coercive control laws, because people in the criminal justice system have seen that there are a pattern of behaviors that then lead to physical violence. And often the physical violence happens when the woman is getting ready to leave. It can very suddenly turn physically violent, even though it wasn't previously physically violent. So just because they've never been physically violent before, um, people in the criminal justice system know that there is this pattern of behavior that often leads to, like, the first time they're physically violent is when they kill you because you were going to leave, if that makes sense. So yeah, even though I'm not saying this guy Katrina was going to be like that, I'm just saying that I agree that sometimes the physical violence comes later, and it's usually when you try and leave. But it doesn't sound like you were too enmeshed with this person that that was likely to happen, and not all coercively controlling partners end up being physically violent either. But it is something to keep in mind, because some people will put up with a lot of things thinking that they're safe because there hasn't been physical violence before, but it can happen when you try and leave. Okay, so lots more words of wisdom for Katrina. Um, okay, so Greg is still here. He's in bed with his phone. Cool. It's good to still have you, Greg. You always protect your wife. Her happiness gives you joy. I love her so much. I am very glad to hear that. Um, but yeah, look, Katrina, that's good that you only talk to him like on Christmases and birthdays and Easter. Look, maybe you're managing just fine. Um, and maybe you need that to touch base every now and then just for your own. Yeah, I don't think you should feel pressured not to talk to this person, but just be I would encourage you to be on guard and maybe do a little bit of research, because once you figure out what someone's doing, um, it's almost laughable. You'll almost find yourself wanting to burst out laughing and having to stop yourself because you're like, "Oh my god, I'm being gaslit. This is like textbook gaslighting," like because you'll hear the first part of it. Because in order for it to be gaslighting, it's not just lying. So it's lying, but there has to be an extra component, which is like them saying, "What are you crazy?" Like there's something defective about you that you, yeah. So they lie, but then so you might be like, I'm pretty sure I'm being gaslit. And then you'll hear the extra bit that makes it gaslighting, and you'll almost want to laugh. So yeah, absolutely. Like maybe educate yourself on it. And yeah, you might be surprised next time you talk to him that you recognize some things. Okay, so um I hope everyone has a lovely. Okay, so Jinx Anomaly says, I hope everyone has a lovely night and know that you're all beautiful people and it does get better. Thank you, Jinx Anomaly. Um, good night. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. He may not care, Katrina, if you go no contact. He absolutely may not care. And that's going to hurt. Um, but even if he says that he cares and that like tugs on your heartstrings, that doesn't mean it doesn't mean that he's being genuine. You know what I mean? So he might really act like he cares. Because you might be a really good supply. You might be excellent supply that he only needs a few times a year. Um, yeah, look, I get why you disagree, Rachel. I just think it sounds like you're safe, Katrina, I guess is where I'm coming from. It sounds like you're in a healthy relationship, you've moved on, and you just talk to this person a few times a year, which can honestly be dangerous, like psychologically. So I guess you are in psychological danger. Just, I don't think anybody should feel pressured to stop doing something because you have to make that decision for yourself. So don't do it because we're saying don't talk to him. Do it because you've come to a place where you think it would be best for you not to talk to him. Um, yeah, I think is where I'm coming from. Because like if we're doing something for other people, it usually doesn't stick. You know what I mean? If we've come to a logical decision ourselves, not even just logic, like we have instinctually come to this decision, we're more likely to stick with it than someone else tells us we have to do this thing and then we follow their instruction. So I think you have to come to a place yourself where you see the value in not talking to this person. So I guess that's where Rachel's coming from. She's trying to encourage you that this is best for you. So we're probably coming at the same thing from different angles. And I will say, without sharing any more, I have gone no contact with two narcissists in my life now. And it's good. You will get peace that you didn't know that you needed. But it sounds like you have big gaps in between. But then on the other hand, you've still got this like little tenuous hook that he still has in you, you know? But if you were to come to a place where you decided no contact 100%, then he'd lose all his hooks and all his power. But yeah, it is possible. I have gone no contact with two narcissists now, and it was the right decision for me. Um, yeah. 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 That's good advice too, Rachel. Reread what you've written. Um, because you know. Yeah. Why do you think you were annoying every day beside him? You were annoying. Did you think you were annoying before he told you you were annoying? Um, before he characterized you as annoying? Hmm. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, Katrina. That would have made it even harder. Mm. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense why you can't let go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Did you find the therapy helpful, Katrina? Not all therapists are created equal, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of superstitious sometimes too, Rachel. Um, taking that as a sign, a higher power was protecting that little soul. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with Wild Blackberry. Attachment styles, if you haven't looked into them, it's a very important piece of the puzzle, I think, for a lot of us. Um, to figuring out like patterns that we have in romantic relationships and friendships, like it can affect lots of areas of our life. So yeah, have a look at attachment styles. Um, yeah, that's definitely good advice. You haven't stolen my life. I'm not very entertaining on my own. If I didn't have, like, you guys contributing topics to talk about, I'd I'd just be here for 10 minutes and then I'd be gone. So, no, you didn't steal the live. Yeah. So Rachel says, "Finding the right therapist is like shoe shopping. Sometimes takes time to find the right personal fit." Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, to be fair, even if they're a good therapist, it takes time to build up that trust too. Unfortunately, like, so if you can only afford a certain amount of sessions, no matter how open and honest you want to be, like, you won't get there for a few sessions, if that makes sense. Um, Although some you might click with. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on anything. Um, yeah, it is the same with doctors. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shopping around. Yeah, I agree. No, I'm definitely not a focus on me. Oh, if you see me in public, yeah, like if I were to go to a social gathering, I'm more, "Let's get someone else talking and let's all look at them." And I'll just and affirm what they're saying and maybe add some follow-up questions and keep them talking. Um, yeah. So, yes, I agree. It is like a social hangout. Um, Unfortunately, Rachel, it makes me very good narcissistic supply for certain people because I'm like, "Let's prop them up. Look, I'm sure they've got great things to say." And I can find interest in whatever anyone's talking about and can have follow-up questions, and so they really are interesting to me, but it does unfortunately make me very good narcissistic supply for predatory people. Okay, so Timmy says, "I was taught to look in the mirror directly in my eyes and say, 'I have worth. I have worth.'" I have not tried that. That sounds quite uncomfortable, to be honest, but it's very good advice. Yeah, I love that too. Okay, so Steve says, randomly coming in here, how many states and territories of Australia has everyone done? You've done five. I've done three. Yeah, I haven't traveled that much. Yeah, I've only done three states and territories. Um, yeah, what about everyone else? Yeah, Katrina. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're definitely not alone. It happens to so many of us. Um, yeah. And, it doesn't even matter. So we've been saying a lot of things about narcissistic traits and narcissism. It doesn't actually matter if this person would fit any kind of criteria or if they've got ill intent or what their intention is. It doesn't actually matter. It's how it has hurt you. Like, so the harm is valid regardless of if this person. So don't get tied up in, um, like, "Oh, but I don't think this," like, so if you do look up the things that we've suggested and it doesn't, like, you can't see all the characteristics that a narcissist might have, it doesn't matter because he was harming you. Like, so it doesn't matter if he meets any kind of criteria. Don't get hung up on that. These are good terms to learn about with hoovering and whatnot, but if any of it doesn't ring true, it doesn't mean that you weren't harmed, and it doesn't mean that you wouldn't be, um, find better outcomes and better mental health by avoiding this person because they are harming you regardless of their intention. even if there was no malice involved, even if they had a really bad childhood and they've had a really hard run and they've been a victim of things, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you've got compassion for them or if they were good in certain ways. It only matters that you have experienced harm and you should protect yourself from further harm. That's the important thing to focus on, would be what I would say. Okay, yeah. So Dharma files in Ireland. So 0 states of Australia. Okay. That's okay. You can still be part of it. No. I would love to go to Ireland. It sounds like a really cool place. Yeah. Plus, a lot of Aussies have Irish heritage, but it must really annoy you when people from nations like Australia and the US go to Ireland and they're like, I'm Irish because my great grandmother was Irish. So I'm Irish too, right? I don't know. Does that annoy you, Dharmophile? When you have foreigners visit and claim that they're Irish, even though this is the first time they've ever set foot in Ireland? That's great, Timmy. So last time you saw a therapist, I got the giggles and it cost me $95 and I couldn't stop laughing. Yeah, maybe you had some pent up things. Like, I am quite guilty of laughing, like in situations where I shouldn't, that aren't funny. So, like, I've never laughed at a funeral, but I've not really been to a funeral since I was a kid. So I'd be scared that I might laugh at a funeral, not because it's at all funny, but because, like, this overwhelming emotion. And sometimes we just laugh. So maybe, like, you had a lot of pent up things and laughing was what happened. Okay, so you're thinking of visiting Melbourne, Tomophile. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Okay, Katrina. So you went to a horror movie and you couldn't stop laughing. Had to leave because it was so fake, it was laughable. I can understand where you're coming from. I don't like horror personally. It triggers my freeze response. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not a fan, but it sounds like that one wasn't disturbing because it was so laughable. Okay, I had a work colleague. So Steve says, I had a work colleague from Ireland and I loved teasing her that I couldn't understand a word she said. In truth, she had an awesome accent. Okay, cool. It is a beautiful accent. Okay, so Wild Blackberry's been to Ireland. Okay. That's a good point. So Rachel says one session isn't generally enough to know if it's a good investment. Maybe you just needed that release to get the process started. Yeah. Okay, so Dharmophile, I used to love horrors as a way to feel safe. No, that actually makes sense. That's not weird. I think a lot of people process trauma through horror. I wish it worked for me. It doesn't, because I freeze up. But now you can't handle them. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Dimmy, I'm so sorry. I don't remember what I said that you're responding to. Why are you uncomfortable about saying that, Enid? Your soul is in there. It will protect you. Maybe because I can meditate, I can do it. It's very comforting. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure. Sometimes I say things and then I immediately forget what I said. Dharmophile says some of our accents are really hard to understand. Yeah, some of them are. Most of them, I think we're pretty conditioned to understand because we've heard them. But yeah, like there's a lot of regional um, accent differences. In Ireland, they say fork a lot when they're angry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Although maybe that's just a stereotype. Maybe you don't all swear, but I do hear a lot of swearing from Irish people, and it's hilarious. Um, even more than fork, we say a milder version, which is feck. Love it. Uh, All right, so Wild Blackberry went to Dublin on her birthday. Friend of a friend walked me around a pub and got random men to kiss me on the cheek because it was my birthday. I mean, that sounds like fun if it was your type of thing. I think that's really cute. Yeah, that like I'm thinking that too, Dharmafire. Like I don't know if Wild Blackberry liked it or not. Um, I guess you could have said no to your friend at any time, unless you didn't feel you could. Yeah, and did one man turn into a prince? I agree. Feck is so fucking adorable. I love it. I love it. Yeah, don't try kissing a cane toad. Um, I mean, some dogs do intentionally lick cane toads to get high, which really upsets their owners when they have to clean out their mouths. But yeah, I would not recommend it. Kissing them or licking cane toads. Yeah, he does a bit, Katrina. Yeah. Okay, good to know, Dharmophile. So you can't just be dropping the F bomb everywhere if you visit Ireland. You got to use feck sometimes. Oh, dear me. Oh, I so feel you. Sometimes your eyes just lock onto something and you can't see past it. And your brain's like, no, stop looking, don't laugh. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Did you tell her that's why you were laughing, or did you just let her think that you might be a bit nuts and we're just randomly laughing? Oh, oh dear. We're all being sick at the thought of kissing Donald Trump. Okay. Yeah. Look, I agree, Steve. Let's not dwell on it too much. Um, but yeah, Demi, I would love to know. Did you tell her why you were laughing? One friend of yours, whenever she dropped a stitch in knitting, would say "feckety feck feck." Okay, I love it. It's very communicative to everyone. Okay, so Rachel had a crazy hair therapist as a teenager. I couldn't keep a straight face. Electric socket hair, I swear. Oh. Okay, good night, Katrina. I'm going to go in a second too, guys. I'll let you guys go to bed and be on your merry way. But yeah, thank you for everything you've shared, Katrina. I hope we've been at all helpful. Um, but the chat should have saved if you want to go back and reread anything later. Um, but it does sometimes take like 12 hours for it all to process and come up. But yeah, it should be there for you to go back and read if you need to. Okay, so the kissing thing was disconcerting. What it is to go out with extroverts, yes, but fun. It's good to take yourself out of your comfort zone on occasion. Yeah, okay. I'm glad that it was a positive occasion for you, even if it took you out of your comfort zone. Okay. Thank you for coming along, Dharmaphile, and enjoy the rest of your day. We've loved chatting with you too. Yeah, and yeah, hope to catch you on the next live. It'll be on at a similar time or the same time, probably in 2 weeks, but I've got to try and look at when Christmas is and make a plan for the schedule. Yeah, good night, Katrina. Yeah, and that's what's so valuable, Katrina, that yeah, you're sharing your experiences and it will hopefully help others because there could be people that aren't comfortable like joining in on the chat or people that rewatch it later that can find it helpful. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some people probably been through the same thing and they don't comment. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I have been a silent watcher of many a live stream where I have not had the confidence to make any comments. So I completely understand that. Um, Hello, Miss Bella. Um, she's really looking at this blind. What's going on? If there is a spider behind there, can you like tell me before I go to bed? Yeah, thank you. Um, well, specifically, Jimmy. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it would be difficult to look in the mirror, and I think you said I have value. Oh, okay. So that's what you guys were referring to. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I don't know. I just feel uncomfortable, which probably means I should do it. Um, yeah. Okay. There is better things in life to worry about, like chocolate. Yeah, I could really go some chocolate right now. Okay, so Dimmy, you said no. I didn't tell her about why I was laughing. I just said that I heard a joke before I got there, and I had to tell her a really dirty joke. Thank goodness she laughed. Okay. Well, you sound like you handled it well. Um, and you had a dirty joke ready to go. Well done. Uh, yeah, if I had to think of a joke on a moment's notice, I don't think I could think of one. I can't think of one right now. So yeah, well done. You were very slick and smooth, and I'm impressed. I don't have that level of charisma, but I'm very impressed. Yeah, more love of chocolate. Chocolate. It's just like one of the best things in all of the world. Okay, guys. Well, It has almost been 4 hours. But yeah, it has been really great hanging out with you all. This has been a great conversation. Thank you. Yeah, I hope that you all have an awesome weekend. And yeah, I will see you in 2 weeks' time. I will check the calendar and try and figure out when our next live streams will be over the Christmas period. But yeah, so I guess I'll try and avoid the Friday around Christmas Day and maybe go for the one on either side. But yeah, good night all. Sleep well, and I will see you in the comments. Hopefully, I'll have a video up this weekend. It has been filmed and sitting there for a week and a half, but haven't had the concentration to complete it. But I will do my best. And hopefully, maybe next week I'll have a vlog, but no promises. All right. Good night, all. And I will see you in the next one. And hopefully in the comment section. And yeah. Where is the button to end stream? I found it. We're all good. Okay. Good night.